Welcome to another episode of the Sippin and Trippin podcast, where we connect with amazing people. Today's topic is the greatest capability being responsibility. I am your host, Desmond Black, and the person that's sipping and tripping with me today is the father of two kids, one son and one daughter. He is a true Italian who loves to cook. He loves the gym more than he loves himself at times. He's a hard worker, a great provider. He's my brother from another mother. He is none other than Mr. Joseph D'Amico. What's good with you, bro?
What's up, buddy? What's up? All facts. All staying all facts right there. What's up, man?
Hey, shit, man. So tell me, man. It's been a long time since we really kicked it like that, man. You know, scheduling conflicts. You work, I work. You know, so
Yeah.
what's new, man?
Got the other little one, the baby. It's had about 10 months now, Sienna. Um, working. Shit gets full, the day gets full. A lot of stuff going on with Cat trying to work, Cat going back to school. She's
Oh,
starting to do that, go back to school in September.
where'd she go to school for?
She's going to school to finish up. She went to Seton Hall and she was like a few credits short of graduating way
Right.
back when. So she's taking initiative to she maybe like 2 semesters to finish up. So she's looking to get that done. So we got a lot of stuff going on right now. So it's kind of hard to link up, me and you.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I know. Like my job. You know, I'm close to Philly. I'm like it's an hour and 10 minutes to work, hour and 10 minutes from work. Supposed to work 10 hours. I'll be trying to get the hell out of there early, but that's a struggle. You know how restaurants is, man. Especially as a manager, man. Like it'd be slow as hell, and they be trying to keep me hostage, bro. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah,
But my son got his first
restaurants.
football game. My son got his first football game this Saturday. It's at 6:30, so I'm gonna try my best to get out at 5:30, make some kind of deals or something. You know
Yeah,
what I
you got
mean?
yeah, for sure.
It's just tough because it falls on a Saturday, and Saturdays is rough. It's
Yeah,
busy.
yeah, yeah. And the restaurants, forget it. You pretty much sign up for the weekends when you're working, especially in your position, being a management, all that. But yeah, that first one,
Yeah.
maybe you go to the first one, and maybe you can miss a couple after that. But the first one is the
Mm.
real deal. It's that one.
But see, that's the
My
thing. It's only like 8 games, maybe 9. So months ago, I asked my boss. I said, "Listen, I know Sundays because last year was only on Sundays.
mm,
This year they said it's gonna be Saturday and Sundays, which is kind of like crazy." But I told him I was like, "Listen, please, I want to go to at least 6 of them because last year I recorded the games and I keep them in the archive. So when I want to go back and watch a game, I can watch it on my big TV, my big
that's
screen. I
cool.
mean, on a hard drive. So I
Yeah.
want to do the same thing this year.
Hmm.
And yeah, last year was his first year, so he got a feel for it. You know what I'm trying to say? So like, I feel like this year he gonna be better. The only thing is he got a different coach. His new
Okay.
coach he's strict and he be on it, bro. So my
Okay.
son, he got a lot of growing up to do as far as sportsmanship and all that. So I'm just hoping for the best, man. But like last year, it wasn't competitive. This year it is. So like last year they didn't do kickoffs. This year they're gonna be
Okay.
doing kickoffs. So it's different. It's like straight college NFL rules. Last year it was a little leniency, little things that was different,
Yeah.
little things they said you couldn't do. Like you had a fixed number of times you can blitz. This year he could blitz. The team can blitz
Free
whatever.
for all. Yeah. Okay. Hey,
Yeah,
well, yeah,
so I'm
that's
excited
cool.
about that, man.
Yeah,
How's
that's
Big Head Rocco?
Oh man, yeah. We actually, you were talking about that. We signed him up for soccer. He's only two and a
Mm,
half, so it's not really like it's just to like get him out with the other little kids and it's
yeah,
parents have to be involved because the kids will just run amok. He starts up
yeah,
next Sunday. 10 weeks of like half-hour sessions, just getting out with the kids, kicking the ball around, or trying
but
to
that's
do
where
some organ. Yeah,
it starts though. The younger they are, they get around with the kids. The other kids show interest in it, and then as
right,
they get older, if they stick with it, then it's like they a lot of times they grow up with the same kids in that sport. They
right.
might not have parlayed with them in school or on an everyday basis, but I think sports brings that friendship, that bond. It brings people together.
Yeah, yeah,
sort of like
absolutely,
cookouts and stuff like that, family functions. It just brings people together. So, I
yeah,
love that the community has things like this. Because it used to be
mhm,
called Pop Warner and like football, but like they
yeah.
changed it. It's like American Youth Football, something, something, something. So I'm
Yeah.
excited, man.
Well, you
So
played little
yeah,
you played like Pop Warner football because I did little league growing up. Like it was all about
no,
baseball for me growing up.
no, I never did.
Oh,
I so let me see. What I didn't play sports until uh I mean for a school until like I think my freshman year in high school.
okay.
Um yeah, so I played a little bit of basketball, but it's in high school it's crazy. Like I wasn't no dork or nothing like that. Wasn't like I don't know. You know how you got different categories. You got the outcast, you got the
Hmm.
well known, you got the most popular. Now I was popular, but I wasn't in that popular category. I was in that well known category.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so riding the bench, I ain't like that shit. And the thing is, I ain't got no jumper, right? So I was there for like rebounds. You know what I'm saying? I play
Yeah.
center, a little bit of power forward, rebounds and stuff like that. Whenever I try to score, the coach, everyone like, no. When I scored, I'm like, oh, good job. I'm like, get out of here. So after a while, I was like, man, you know what? I can score the ball. So I tried. I remember one game we was about to lose, and I had somebody passing the ball, and they was like, pass it back, and I just shot that fucking jumper,
You check that
and
shit
they was
out.
like, no. That shit went right in, bro. We won the game. Shit.
Yeah,
That
that's
shit
nice,
wild.
man.
But my thing was when I was in high school, man, I ran track and I played football.
Okay.
My freshman year, my sophomore year, my junior year, my senior year, I didn't get cleared for sports. That shit broke my heart. They
Oh, for real.
because I had a regular heartbeat and stuff, so they was like safety first and all that corny shit, man.
Ah,
And I'm
shit.
like,
Okay.
please, man, what do I gotta do? Then I moved from
Right.
North
Right.
Carolina and moved to Jersey. They wouldn't clear me, and then they was like, I won't say nothing if you won't. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mm,
But it just never happened, man, because they was like it's a liability.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that's that about sports, man. My kids keep me grounded too. They it's a lot of hard work, man. 4 kids, it's
That's
a
a
lot of hard
fact, man.
work.
That's a fact. Yeah. God bless you, man. Because I'm running crazy with two, and you working a full time, you working that gig, and then you doing this. God bless you. Get this is tough too. Do down this because this is like a an interest and like a side thing. This ain't like I mean, not a hobby. I want to say per
Yeah,
se, but like this is something that's like just something that tickles your like you wanted to try to do on top of everything else you got. It's not easy. It's not easy
yeah.
for sure.
It's
It's
definitely
not.
not easy. So like, I said I was going into it, I said I just want to do once a week.
Hmm.
And then I went on vacation, and then like so I didn't have an episode in like 2 weeks. So last week I wanted 3, but only did 2. So
Mm.
now I feel like I'm still behind, right? So this should have been in the 9th week, but it's only 8th episode. So, you know, yeah, man, it's the more I do it, the more interested I am. When
Yeah.
I first took on this, I was like, with my whole food truck aspirations, I was like, I gotta generate uh some traction. I gotta get a following and things like that. And plus on top of that, the thing about this platform is you get to work on your socialization skills, your people
Hmm.
skills. Because when you
Hmm.
work all the time, you don't really have people skills. You go to work and you come home and it's the same thing every day. I
Yeah.
don't get out there and hang out with people. I'll be wanting to. Man, you used to kick it all the time, but it was a lot
All
easier
the time.
because we worked together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then like once you had a kid, your first one, things slow down. We hung out a couple times after that, but that's what happens when you're a parent. It's hard because especially if you don't have nobody to watch the kids
Mm.
or your significant other. Like, "Oh, you ain't gonna stick me with the kids just so you can have fun."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's
We'll be
difficult.
running into that problem when they get a little bit older because it's not like when I grew up. I had my grandparents in Jersey City. I get out of
Right.
school. My mother was single parent. We go stay with my grandparents. We walk over, stay with
Hmm.
them. My moms will come pick us up. Um, you know, uh, I got two grandparents left on my girl's side, but they live up in North Jersey.
Right.
They're separated, and it's just hard to. So it's going to be daycare or just figuring out work schedules, and that's dude. And it's so expensive these days. I couldn't even imagine. But It's something you got
It
to figure
is.
out.
It
That's
is.
life. You know what I mean? Like that's part of what it is. So it's like how do you juggle and figure like all that. So that's why when you do these types of things like the food truck or like in your situation, but you add another like load to it. It's tough. It is tough, man. So, but yeah, you know.
Yeah. But like I said, right now I'm doing my campaign, my marketing strategies and stuff, trying to make sure I'm financially stable and prepared before I jump out the
Right.
window and take on that full time. So
Yeah.
initially I said sometime next year, but I'm thinking like to be
Okay.
really invested in the food truck thing, I'm looking at 2026. And that seems
Okay.
like a long time, but time flies, man. Time flies,
Fine.
and I need that growth. I need to worry about the business side of things. I need to make sure the finances is in order, And so, my job teaches me a lot of things. That's one thing about being a manager. You learn that business side of things, so it'll prepare you for being your own boss, like an entrepreneur. So, I keep pushing. I just like I posted a thing on YouTube a couple days ago. The truck is back up and running. The
Yeah.
crazy thing
What's up?
is, I was stressed out about that. All right,
I'm with you, bro. Sorry, man. Yeah.
all right. So yeah, so I was stressed out about the whole truck thing because it wasn't working
Yeah.
at one point, and I thought it was the battery, and turns out that's what it was.
Right.
So
Right.
a truck like that, it's two batteries. So the batteries I had was shot. Um, so I got two brand new batteries, put them in there, and it works every day. It's no problem.
Nice.
You know
But
what I
when
mean?
you sent me
Everything
that,
good?
yeah. So when you sent me that, remember what I said to you? I was like, slow and steady wins the race. So like when you like you'll only
Absolutely.
gain more like knowledge and more experience and more like know how of how like especially in the position you're in to like know how to like do it. And it does it guarantee you
Right.
more success when you finally do it? No, but you go in with a better hand of what you're looking to do, you know. So yeah.
I had
Cool.
to put this comment up here real quick.
Yeah.
Allison's like, "You're welcome," because I was at work and she took care of that for me. So I guess she want her little recognition. She want her praise. She got it.
Okay.
You got it.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. We
yeah,
see you.
but the crazy thing, the crazy thing is, it cost $400, and the thing
Mm,
is, the guy, he was like, "Oh, another $100 for him to put the battery," and I'm like, "Bro, I didn't want to pay $500, or I didn't want her to pay $500." So I used to have my own personal mechanic. So I hit him up, like, "Yo, can you do it?" He was like, "Bro, I taught you how to work on cars." He's like, "You can do it." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't want to mess nothing up." So he came over, he put them in for me, and everything's good, man. So life is good. I don't know if you can see it, but like in the video, like I was cheesing. I'm sitting there
yeah.
like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And I was like, truck is running.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Absolutely,
yeah,
bro.
man. So that's that. So all right, so look, with this platform, I like to
Mhm.
conversate, educate, and entertain. All right. So, as I said before, today's topic is the greatest capability being responsibility. So, let me break down a few definitions real quick.
Yeah.
The word capability is the power or ability to do something. Ability is the possession of the means or skill to do something. Responsibility is the state or fact of having a duty to deal with something or having control over someone. It is a thing that one is required to do as part of a job or a role. There are a lot of things that men or people in general do not take ownership of. You agree with that?
Yeah. I can agree with that. Yeah.
All right. So look, so we as men, especially, but people in general, we must start taking responsibility of our own. We must start taking accountability for what is done and what we've done. Now, the word accountability is a state of being responsible for one's actions or the obligation to accept the responsibility, right? As humans, as men, we have to be obedient. Now, all these words I just broke down, right? They, to me, they go hand in hand. I define these words because um, I want to ask you this. So, you ready?
Let's go.
All right, first question.
Yeah.
Um, for people that are gay, Are they not to be held accountable for the kids that choose to walk that path?
So people that are gay, they're not accountable for the kids that choose to walk that path. Meaning, like
No, I
we
said
like
so. I said so what I was saying is for the people that are gay, right? Like the adults or whatever. Are they not to be held accountable for the kids that choose to walk that path? So should we
absolutely,
hold?
I think so.
Okay,
I think
okay.
so. I
So
mean,
should the gay community not be at fault?
at fault for like kids that are coming up behind them and because like you think about
Yes.
it like so it's progressed in like time, right? Being a homosexual over
Right.
years, like back in the 80s and maybe 90s, like you were shunned, like you lose your job, they look down on you and stuff. Now it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like promoted as like if you are, it's like celebrated kind of thing. But
Right.
you still have, I mean, still, I think, even if you're straight, gay, whatever, you still have an obligation to like, it depending on who you're speaking, that person's trying to show an example for, like, who is, like, if you have I don't know, if you have like two dads or something, and you have kids and you're raising them, your obligation to your kids or something, or to your community, like the gay community, you mean? I mean, I don't know.
Right.
Um,
Well, so for me, like, and I speak about this a little bit more in depth, a little bit later, but like for me, like, kids are like sponges, right? You heard that before, right?
exactly. Yeah, of course.
Hold on, let me read this comment right quick. Oh no, I put that one up already. All right. So like, so kids are like sponges. They emulate the people they're around, right? They do and say whatever they're around. So I feel like if you're a parent and you choose that path to be gay or bisexual or whatever, I think that there should be a line because if you're just flamboyant and you out there and let's say you got kids, then your
Right.
kids are going to see this every day and they're going to
Right.
grow up thinking this is okay, this is right, and it's a high chance that if they grow around that, and I mean grow up around that, and they see this all the time, it's a strong chance that they might say I'm gay.
Well,
You
that's
know
a
what I'm
good point
saying?
you
So
make.
that's what I mean by
Please go ahead, bro.
go ahead.
Well, that's a good
So
point you
no, no,
make
no, you were saying
because
something?
yeah, that's a good point you make because like you know, being gay is not the norm. Where we can both accept like say that out loud. Being gay is not the norm. It's not the way it's meant for the boys and girls to grow up, right?
Right,
So if you
right,
have a gay parent, is that parent giving you the opportunity to have you grow up normal, or not normal? I don't say normal isn't the right word, but like have you grow up with the freedom to choose? Like if you're a boy and you got a gay dad, is that dad like gonna be instilling some things on you that might not be what a normal heterosexual boy might potentially be till he's old enough to decide if he's gay or not. And it goes for women too. Like, are
right,
you raising the girl to be doing things that it's more leeway with girls, but boys you got to be stricter with. Like I'm strict as hell with my boy, um, but like you got to give him a chance to become his own. Like you can't just because you're
right.
grown. Like you got to not like instill the stuff that because you're the way you are. You got to give him a chance to be who he's gonna be. You're gonna guide him, but you
Right.
know,
So one second. So Allison said no. Miss Allison Caulfield, would you mind to? I mean, would you care to elaborate on why you said no? I'm not sure what you said no to. So I'm assuming she'll get into that in a minute, but that's what I mean. Oh, hold on, there it goes. But she says, if you have two female parents, what will happen if they have a son? Well, see,
that's
that's
a
the
good
thing. Two
question.
women can't have
You
a
can't.
son.
You
The only
can't.
way they can is if they adopt. You know what I'm trying to say?
You know what's actually
But
interesting?
that's What's that?
I actually saw a thing, another podcast. Hopefully yours will get to be as
Mm-hmm.
successful as the one I saw. Anyway, it's, I don't know, you probably heard of it. It's called the Whatever Podcast. And the one guy on there is like, well, women leave men at a certain rate, but when you have two females raising kids together,
Mm.
the rate of
Right.
which they separate is high, because when you have sons with two women, they actually want a protector. They want a man to raise that child, because you need two opposing viewpoints. You can't have, in my opinion, two women raising a son, because then you're going to raise, a boy that's not really going to become a man. It's not, you have to
Right.
have that different dynamic, I feel like, so yeah. And that
Right.
goes
So
for
it's like,
having
yeah,
two.
two women. They the only thing. Yeah. So with two women, and you say you have a son or you have a daughter, that's too much estrogen. That's too much female energy. It's a lot of female sexuality. So it's, let's say two women and they adopt or something. They have a son, or one of them used to be straight, then they have a son, but then now they together. That's too much feminine energy, feminine sexuality, and
Mm-hmm.
it just doesn't bode well for when you're trying to raise a son. Like it's just to me it's just crazy. So let me see. It says, so then he will be gay. That isn't for. I guess you meant it's not fair to him. Well, it's not, but it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be gay. You know what I'm saying? But it's a high probability, and I think that's where the problem comes from. Like as kids, you need to allow them to grow into their own, because kids, when they grow up, they don't know themselves. They don't even know their sexuality. So
Well,
you
yeah.
you know so
Well,
and that's where it's a
if you
problem.
flip
So
it,
look, before
Roy,
go ahead.
yeah, I'm sorry. If you flip that coin, right, and you say both parents are straight, and there's a gay child, well, they just raise that kid to be either, they raise them in the natural ways of life. Like a boy's going to raise him to be a boy,
Right,
and you raise the girl to be a girl. And if that person happens to be lesbian or bisexual, or the boy happens to be whatever, you raised them to be, but it just didn't go that way. It's not, the parents aren't gay or whatever, but the
right,
kid is. But you gave them the freedom to choose. So if it goes the other way, like the parents are a certain way, you leave the kid the choice, and yeah,
right.
in my opinion. So yeah.
I'm glad you said that, because what's interesting about what you said is this. You said if you have a man and a female and a woman, neither one are gay, but their kid says they're gay, right? This is the thing. Until they mature enough, they don't even know their sexuality. So are they really
Of course.
gay? But for that notion, for that thought process to be taking place in a child, my question is this: what is being said, or what is being done, or what are that kids being exposed to in that household? So it
And I'm
goes
sure
back
you,
to what I
yeah.
said. The greatest
And
capability is responsibility. And once we start being responsible for our actions, and that's when we can hold ourselves accountable. So in
we
holding
could,
ourselves accountable, we gotta hold ourselves accountable on all fronts. Like what is being said, what are the child being exposed to at home for them to think that they're gay?
okay, so let me break this down to you, because
You
now
know?
you open a whole case we can talk about, because so much of kids now aren't
Right,
really even raised by their parents. They're raised by social media, they're raised by the schools, they're raised by so much other outside influences. So like when I talked about, like, even my, I was raised by my grandparents and my parents for the most part, and a couple of kids in the neighborhood. We kicked it with. We didn't have no phones. We didn't have no social media. We didn't have none of this stuff. So your world at a younger
right,
age was so much smaller. So your outside influence is
right,
tiny. But now in schools, I don't know, we
right,
will get into that part of the conversation, I'm sure. But if a kid says a certain word or flips his hand a certain way, he's like, oh well, he must be. We gotta listen to him because he's 6 years old. We gotta let him develop, because he,
right,
no, you gotta let the kid. The kid's too
right,
young. But there's so much outside besides the parents' influence, because both parents are working. Like, look at your schedule. Look at Allison's schedule, probably. Or your girl. Like,
right.
you're there. You try to be as much there to be the influence, but sometimes for some kids it just doesn't happen that way, and that's where, I don't know.
You're right. We do live in an age of where we're like robots. It's almost like we live in a matrix. It's almost like
Yeah.
it's a simulation. Life is all about simulation. Like it's because electronics and technology is taking over. Like kids these days, they don't know anything. They don't know how to properly learn. You can ask them anything about mathematics or anything, and they go straight to their phones. They don't even give 2 seconds to think and rationalize and to reason and try to come up with a concept. They don't. Everything is about, let me Google it real quick.
Yeah.
You know, and it's terrible. So Allison said, which happens with drug addicts too. I'm not sure, because that was a while ago. I'm not sure, you know, what she was referring to, but yeah, like, you know, drug addicts, like it's I'm gonna say this since she brought up drug addicts, it's like I think people that turn to drugs is because they wasn't raised properly or they wasn't taught properly, right? As far as how to deal with things, how to cope with things. And so in my opinion, my true opinion, addicts come from broken homes. Addicts come from a home where they wasn't granted the opportunity to conversate, to sit down and talk to their parents about what's going on in their life. You know what I'm trying to say? A lot of people struggle with mental illness, and as parents, a lot of, not saying me and you, because you know we built differently, right? But like a lot of parents be like, I don't want to hear that shit. Man up, especially fathers. They be like, man up, right? You like, you have to find a way. Mothers are more sympathetic, but the thing is,
more
mothers
nurturing.
They baby their sons.
More nurturing.
Yeah, and that's a problem too. That's why men belong with women, women belong with men, because it's a balance. One is this way, one is that way, and then it's like the scales of justice. It balances itself out. You know what I'm trying to say? And every son, every daughter, they need both parents, and that's why I'm so against broken homes. And I'm a strong advocate for people trying to make it work. When you know, because if life was easy, we all will be doing something else. Just think about it. If something's real easy to you, are you going to continue to do it? Like we might say we don't like competition, or we don't like adversity, or we don't like a challenge, but in all actuality, we do. Because if it wasn't for those challenges, right, like we'd be doing something else. It's the challenges that make us say, oh, I'm gonna keep going. Like, let's just put it this way. Say you got a man, 2 men, they like the same girl. When it's easy, we get what we want, and then we cast them aside and say they're a hoe, they're a bitch, they scum, they ain't shit, and we don't want nothing to do with them. But the women that actually give you a challenge, guess what you do? As men, what do? We chase that shit.
Oh yeah.
But those, it'd be the same men that say, I don't like that. But so, you know what I'm trying to say? So it's just the ways of the world, man. And a lot of people don't sit there and think about their actions or think about life, man. You know, they just go through the motions, right?
Well, I forget the exact saying. Yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No, you go first.
Well, I was just gonna say, because I heard someone say the exact saying. I might get this wrong, but like, weak times create weak men. Hard times create strong men, and then I think it's strong men create strong. Like it's a saying that, like, if you're a man and you shy away from adversity, you shy away from this, you're gonna stay weak. You gotta have adversity, and I can go for women too, like shit, like, but for men especially if you have kids, like, adversity and hard times will make you a stronger individual for sure. So I just want to put that in there.
Right. Yeah, you know, I never heard that before, but I love it. So I'm gonna have to, when I go back and I rewatch this, I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna have to look it up, because what you just said, I was like, this my brother teaching right now, because I like knowledge, and that sounded so right.
Like, I got it from somebody else, but
it's okay. But I still got to use it. Once I get the particulars, I got to use it, because that was like poetry to my ears, bro. And I love me some poetry. So I'm gonna say this, like, before I move on, right? I just want to say what I'm about to talk about is not to bash or put down anyone. This is my disclaimer, right? I don't want nobody to look at me like a Cat Williams or nothing like that. I love everybody, right? But I feel as though the way that the LGBTQ is pushed, right? I feel like society, I think the government, I think a lot of people take it too far, right? Now, I say that to say this. Symbols are very important. Our brains are conditioned to do to what we see and what we hear, right? Our eyes are extremely powerful. On top of the subliminal suggestion, right? Because like subliminal suggestion is very powerful. It's a very powerful way to condition people. Did you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I got you.
So it's like so what I'm saying is it's subliminal messages, right? Like what we hear and what we see, right?
Hmm.
Like if you think about it, like every commercial,
I was just
they
about to
it's a,
say that. You
whether
read me through the phone, bro. Like, good. Yeah,
whether it's a
yeah.
tagline or whether
Hmm.
they hang on to one thing that's going to garner
Yeah,
attention, and they hang on that, right? They hang their hat on that. So that's why I said symbols are very important. Our
yeah,
brains are conditioned to see, to what we see and what we hear. And our eyes are very powerful, right? So that's what I was saying earlier about the kids, right? They like when I say they like sponges, like they emulate what they see and what they hear.
yeah.
So subliminal suggestion is a very powerful way to condition people. It's what they do in marketing, right? So do you agree with that so far?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's not like it'd be too obvious to like put it right in the like, oh, I'm trying to tell you this, so they gotta go under here and be like, and you see it, and then you
Right.
see it, and
They
then you
try to take
see
you
it,
around the mountain and back, but
yeah, and then you see it, and
right.
then you
Yep.
see it, and you're like, yeah. So yeah, I get you.
So all right, so bet. It's like when we turn on the TV, right? Or we turn on the radio, or anytime that we look at a social media platform, right? For some reason, um, you they put out there that gay is so acceptable, right? It's like it's in every commercial, every movie, every TV show, every song. And the crazy thing to me is this: they even put that shit in cartoons. Did you know that?
Oh, dude, that's not even the beginning of it. They're doing it. Oh, yeah, cartoons, like some of the stuff that I have to like
That's
Google
that.
it. I have to like check and be like, because I've been hearing like
Yeah,
some of the Coco Melon, some of this stuff is like, and even some of the books that are like questionable
right,
these days for these little kids, man. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
right. Like so, like I put stuff on for my kids. Like I'm like, oh, it's a cartoon. I go to YouTube or not YouTube, like Netflix or something like that, or Amazon, and I'm like, oh, it's a cartoon. And I don't. Maybe it's my bad. I don't look at the ratings. I don't look at the content that he says in it. I look at it. It's a cartoon, right? And I start playing it. I'll be in another room and I hear something I'm like, what the fuck they just say? I
Yeah.
go in a room and you got two boys. It's supposed to be a cartoon. You got two boys kissing boys.
Yeah.
One day, one of my kids asked me this. He said, "Hey, Dad, how come they kissing? Is that okay?" I'm like, "Fuck no." And this goes back to my disclaimer. This is not to bash anybody that's gay, bisexual. It's not to bash. I'm just having a hard time comprehending the fact that people push the envelope so much,
Hmm.
and it's like brainwashing kids.
Well,
Why put it in cartoons? I feel like it should be a fine line. So let me.
yeah.
So do you
I
think
say,
that they taking this shit too far?
oh yeah. I mean,
No. You go. I was just asking. I said, do you think they take this shit too far?
I think you take it so far so that the landing point is like here. You take it over here, and then people fight back, but then you're not going to fight all the way back to the starting point. You're going to give a little bit because if you're fighting against that whole community of people, which I have nothing a problem with anybody, but I don't want to be down my face. I want to be able to make my decisions and live my
Right.
life. And if my kid don't want to read that book, I don't want my kid reading that book. That's my decision. But they go so far with it, and then you're labeled something if you don't agree with it, and then the settling point is a little bit further back, like a lot of the stuff that goes on now, like in the libraries with these books, and I watch a lot of that stuff because I want to be um, on the know with my kids. Because listen, man, you know me, I'm like I'm not gonna fly for that stuff. I'm old school in that mentality, and that's just the way I think. But they push it because, and it's weird. Why are we involving kids? Why are we involving little minds? Like
Right.
your mind's supposed to be free for imagination, this and that, but not that kind of imagination. Like not stuff like that. Like when they get older, fine. Like let them
Right.
decide at an older age for stuff. Yeah, drag queen story hour stuff. That's like, when did this become a thing? Like, it's too much, man. It's too much for real,
Right,
bro. It's like crazy. I'm like,
right,
what we living? What world we living in? Yeah.
right. And that's what I mean. Like it's one thing to have it in commercials, right? But to place it in cartoons, man, I just think that's highly disrespectful and it's highly
Yeah.
misleading, right? Like
Yeah.
like what are we doing here? Like I don't get it, you know. And lately, when I've been telling people I was gonna have this podcast episode, a lot of people say, "Oh, you voted for Obama," and you know, like he the one started this, right? Um, Allison said, "Gays are taking over." Hell no. If
Nah.
that's what the world coming to, huh, shit, I'm gonna be in the grave sooner than I want to be. But like, you know, whether you're running for president or whatever, I did vote for Barack, but everything is, even with the presidency, right? It's about you. He still got a PR rep, like Kamala Trump. They got a PR rep, right?
Mhm.
Public relations. So if they say, "Oh, if you do this or if you support this, it's going to win the country. It's going to win you over with the country." Right? Like, so it was a whole marketing thing, in my opinion, right? Like, he's a great speaker, he's a great leader, and I love Barack. But like, when he made the thing where same-sex marriages is okay, guess what? He got all them votes. Everybody that was gay or they rode
Yeah.
around with the flag, the pride flag. He won all them votes, and
Well,
look what happened. He became
put it this
president.
way, right? Now that
Oh
you
my
brought in
god.
that Harris
Well,
for
she said
president.
Harris for president. Yay.
Oh no. Well, put it this way, like when they bring
You said, oh,
religion
you
into
said you
stuff.
don't know? We'll get back to that in a minute.
Yeah,
My
we get
bad.
there in a
What'd you
minute.
say?
That's cool. Well, put it this way, right? When you bring religion into this stuff, like the number one religion in America is Christian, but they crap on that religion and expect people, and they want people to bow to the LGBTQ. Like Joe Biden is devout Catholic supposedly, but he's pushing for certain things
Right.
that wouldn't align with his religion. And why is it? Like, politics is different than the average Joe, me and you, kind of thinking about stuff,
Politics, smoking
just trying to
mirrors.
raise kids, the best way we can with what we're given, what we were raised with. It's different than politicians. They got agendas, they got their bullshit on both sides. Whatever, we'll get into that. But yeah, when you forcing me to use certain words to explain this, and you got men dominating women's sports. Like, what are we even doing with this shit? Like what? LeBron can go in the WNBA and score
Right.
185 points every day if he wanted to. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, where's the
Yeah,
line?
yeah, yeah.
You can't muddle responsibilities for men and women and boys and girls and
You
not let
can't.
them know. You can't do that. The society, like, it breaks down, bro. It really does at a deeper level. But I'm just you know, I'm no politician. I'm no like
No,
lawmaker
no,
and
I
shit.
hear
But
you.
yeah, I got common sense though. I got common sense. Yeah.
I hear you, but that's called it's called business, right? Like, you got to go in the market for yourself. You know what I'm saying? So like, look, so with the whole putting stuff in commercials, cartoons, every movie, TV show, et cetera, right? What it's doing is it's sowing a thought into the mind about the possibility, right, or possibly entertaining the idea that gay is right, or being gay is cool, or it's the popular thing, or it's the thing that's in, right? That can lead to a whole bunch of other outcomes, right? And you know what I mean. Like, that's what we're saying about when I say sowing the thought. It's like, by putting in a cartoon, now you're attacking the children, innocent children, and it's almost like you telling them to be gay or to like boys or girls to like girls. It's almost like that because it don't belong in cartoons. If
No.
you're innocent, right, and you don't even know right from wrong. You don't even know your sexuality. You don't even know who you are as a person yet. You didn't even develop your own identity. Now the government and all these big pharma people, they put it out there like it's
Hmm.
acceptable, like it's
They
cool. If you do
normalize
this,
it.
you
They're trying
you
to
you amongst the
normalize it.
cool people. You still,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
yeah.
like a
So they
fad.
they,
It's like
they
a
know what they're
fad.
doing,
It's
right?
it's like
So
one of them fads. Like wearing a certain sneaker. It's like a fad. It's like cool to be this. It's cool to be that.
right. So like, I'm not going to sit here and say, you can't love who you want, right? I'm not gonna say all that, but this topic for me is tough, right? It's tough because of the effects that it have on children, right? And that's like let's talk about Dwayne Wade for a minute. You heard about the whole Dwayne Wade with his son thing, right? You heard about that, right?
Yeah. I know his son is now,
So
switch like transgender, they switched over or something.
so right. So Dwayne Wade was on, I want to say Club Shay Shay, the podcast, I want to say.
Yeah.
Or it was on somebody's podcast, and he was talking about how he's all for and he support his son getting the operation. And then he had conversations with his son about, yeah, you want to get it? Let's get it. I'll pay for it. I think that shit is fucking bonkers, right? Because again, like I said earlier, he don't even know his own sexuality. Like they said, it started when he was like 8 or 9 or something like that. I'll have to go back and look. But now he's 16 or 17 or something like that. So that's a little different. It's because now you're pushing closer to 18, where legally he's a grown man.
Yeah, but what happens at 8 and 9 that shows you that person is not? Because I have a family member,
and that's what I'm saying.
That likes, to use, he's a boy, but he likes to use play with toys that might not be like masculine toys and stuff, But at 8 years old, does that make you like, oh, he wants to be a girl? No, this is a fucking 8-year-old, bro. Excuse my language. And like at 7, 8, and 9 years old, like,
right?
You think the Easter Bunny exists and Santa Claus is still like a real thing? Like, what do you know at 8 years old? My son.
But that's the kind of. But that's the kind. Go ahead.
If I told you Santa Claus was going to drop off something tomorrow morning and I was there, they'd be like, oh shit, Santa dropped that shit off last night. Like, they don't know at that age. Right. They can't, like, yeah.
But exactly. And that's the kind of things we want our kids to think. We want them to believe those things, not the negativity. And again, a disclaimer. I'm not saying people can't love or like who they want to like or love, but the way that it's displayed in society now, I think it's wrong. I think it's disrespectful. I think it should be a line. I think that the parents that walk that path should be held accountable. I think you should not be so flamboyant. I think if you got kids, I'm saying, or if you're around kids, your nephews and nieces, I think you should keep that in check to some degree.
So look at this, ready? I'm gonna break this down. You might not think there's a connection here, but there's a connection, right? So COVID hit, right? They tested that shit on adults. They said, let's shut this shit down. Let's make them wear masks. Let's make them not do anything that they want to do. They got to be locked up. Let's see if we can get the whole fucking population to believe. And they tested it on grown-ups, and we abided with that shit, wearing masks. Liquor stores are open, churches are closed, only the big stores are open. And they fucking were like, oh shit, we got all these people. And then they slowly start to and put all this stuff. And then now they're trying to warp the minds of these kids that are so innocent and so innocent imaginations. And I really think it does harm to a kid's mind if they can't just genuinely like grow with the freedom of letting them grow. Like, listen, if the kid is genuinely growing and as the years pass, you notice it and you're not forcing it, then fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Be who you're going to be. But when you are like at 8 years old saying, oh shit, that my boy is a girl, he wants to be a girl because he's playing with a doll. That's crazy talk. Right. For me, that's crazy talk. Like, I can't get on board with
you're
that.
Right. Because I can't either. If one of my kids, I'm not even gonna go in depth with it because, like I said, I don't want to be scrutinized. But if one of my kids ever told me, like, "Oh, I like my sons, I like boys," bro, it's no words to describe my thought process in that moment.
Right.
And I'm not even gonna try because it's gonna be some people that like to criticize or say, "Oh, you would feel what? You would say what? No, fuck that. That shit don't exist in my world. It's not in my DNA." You know what I'm trying to say? Like, fuck that.
100.
Hold on. We are building them. Let them be a kid. We are in the 80 and 90. Huh? We just did everything. I'm a little confused about that one. And then hold on, shit. My bad. So that goes back to what I was just saying, though, right? So my question is this: why can't we just let kids be kids without the media trying to persuade them trying to persuade them to be straight or gay? Right? Like, because kids should be kids. They should
Right.
develop on their own. They should grow on their own. Why can't we allow kids to just be kids without the media trying to persuade them to either pick to be gay or straight?
I mean, that's a deep question. I think it's more of like a control thing. You know what I'm saying? I think it's more of like breaking down. Um, it's more of like a breaking down like the household, right? Because now you can go to schools and like if you tell your teacher this and that, then the parent doesn't have to be notified. The parent has less value. They're trying to take the value out of like parenting and the kids having more say than the parents do. And if you go against it, you're a
Right.
bigot. You're not a bigot. You're a hater. You're a hippie. You're like you're anti this. You're anti that, which is not the case. I just want to just get out of my face. I don't want to put on a TV and I see two dudes making out. My son's right there watching it, and he thinks that's just
Oh
normal.
my God.
It's not normal. It's not normal.
Yeah.
But then, and I get it. Like there's room for that stuff, but but it's not. So they really think they're trying to like go at the weak minds. And a kid is a weaker mind because it just doesn't have the knowledge yet. My kid repeats everything I say right now, 2.5. I curse here and there. My girl's like, I don't say that. He'll repeat it. So what do you think at 4, 5, 6,
Yeah.
7 years old, they go read these books and they're some of these books are fucking
Yeah.
like legit, like terrible. They're gonna absorb that and think it's the norm. And I think it's because they want to
Yeah.
take the kids and then they're gonna develop and it's just gonna be it's
So what about the people that have kids, right, with someone of the same gender? Like if you have like we was talking about earlier, right? Like it's two men they in a relationship and they have kids, or it's two women and they have kids, right? What's going to happen to their kid? Like, doesn't that create confusion with the kid?
yeah.
You trying to co-parent, but you're gay. You're homosexual, trying to raise a kid. Doesn't
Mm-hmm.
that create confusion? Right?
It's
So
yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
sorry.
So
Yeah.
no, you good, you're good. So confusion
It's a
creates what? Chaos, right?
it's a
Dysfunctional.
distorted view of like reality. It's like not it's
Right.
changing it's like changing the normal way of things. You know what I'm saying? Like just changing the way it's supposed to be. Like what are you gonna get with like I don't know. You're not getting both sides, the disciplinarian and the nurturing, where you're not getting, this or that. It's just not, you know,
Mm-mm.
it's not suitable, I think.
You're right. You're right. So it's like nature versus nurture, right? So everybody's mind is a blank slate at birth, right? And this is what I was saying earlier, right? Um, it is not prepackaged with basic tools, right? Talk about the mind. It's not. We're not born with a mind that's prepackaged with the tools and the knowledge of life.
True.
Every baby's mind is like an empty notebook waiting for the writer or the environment to fill its pages. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, what do you
Of
get
course.
from that when I say that?
Well, what I
What do you
get
get
is
from that?
actually like I can't remember my 1, 2, 3 years old, 4 years old. I don't know. I ended up starting to be. I started to like. You can't remember when you're a baby. I don't have thoughts that being like, oh shit, they did this and that. So who you are now is
Mm,
how you like remember when you were little, right? You know.
right.
So you don't like you're saying you don't have those thoughts and memories from when you were a baby. What's your first remember? What like if you even
Right.
try to think of your first memory as a kid? What? How old are you? Like several years old, right? Like you start thinking back. You're like, I can't even remember till
No,
I was
I
like
was thinking
10
because
years.
now that you said that, I was
You
trying to
know,
think. My first
right?
memories. My first memory, if you say like, if I was to think about my early days, my first memory would be I don't even know where it was. My mom and my dad took us, me and my younger brother, to some park, and I had two bottles. They used to call me Desmond Two Bottles, because I used to walk around with 2 bottles. If I ain't have 2 bottles, I'll cut up.
Yeah.
I act the fool. But I was somewhere chasing. I don't know if it was pigeons or it was some kind of bird. I used to chase them, and I used to. Can we keep it? Can we keep them? And as I got older, either my mom or my dad, maybe it was both. They showed me pictures of that day, and I snot down my nose and everything. So like that would be my first memory, right,
Yeah.
from my earlier days. As I got older, there's other things that I
Right.
remember.
Right.
But what I was saying is like when we're all born as babies, our mind is a blank canvas,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I was saying like we live and we learn, we emulate everything that's around us, right? So when I said, what I said, the baby's mind is like an empty notebook, right, waiting for the writer or the environment to fill the pages. So that's what I'm saying. Like so, people, places, and things they shape us and make us who we are. So if you have a kid and say you're around a whole bunch of drug addicts or you're around a lot of hustlers, right? When they grow up, that's what they see, and then they're like, "Oh, that's cool," right?
Yeah.
Because they've been around
Pretty
it
much.
so much, and now they want to be a hustler. They want to be a drug dealer, or hate to say it, if they see a lot of fiends, if as a parent, if you allow them to be around a lot of fiends, guess what? Now they be like, "Oh, I want to know. I'm curious why they like this so much. What is it
Yeah.
about it?" And then that's going to force them, or not force them, but that's going to give them the idea of, oh, let me try it. And if it's bad
Yeah.
for me, then I stop. But the thing is, sometimes when you try things, you might like it to some degree, and guess what? You keep doing it. You might say,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's bad for me. I ain't gonna do it no more." But you be like, "Dang, it did kind of feel kind of good." So that's what I mean by like, the greatest capability is being responsible. Is responsibility. And once we're able to take responsibility, we can take accountability for our own actions. And a lot of people don't take accountability for themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
crazy. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of changes parents and just adults in general got we just gotta make them, right? Like I said earlier, kids are like sponges, right? And I said they see, they act, they do whatever that they're around, right? So as babies, right? Um, as babies grow, their actions and beliefs stem from trained or taught behaviors, right? I guess that's what I was trying to get at before when I was like their household. It's based off their household.
Okay.
So let's look at religion. Since you mentioned religion before, nobody knows what religion is. Nobody understands religion, right? Growing up when you were a kid, when you were young, right? You were adolescent. So if you're a kid and you say you're religious, it's because you was taught that from a parent, grandparent, or guardian, something like that. It's
Right.
that's what I say. So trained and taught behaviors. So our kids, that's where they first start developing. They have their own ideas, and that's when they start coming into themselves, people, places, and things. Right? They're around certain people. Boom, they emulate it. They learn from them people. They're around this. They in this place, and they see how people function in that atmosphere, and that's how as humans we grow. Right. So it's the same thing. Um, I said this in another podcast, right? Every bit of content has intent. That goes back to what the cartoons and everything like that.
Okay.
That's the content, but the intent is to show is to what? Tell them, oh, it's
Right.
okay. It's okay.
Right. Yeah.
But why would you? That's like somebody that's autistic, right? And they're autistic and their brain don't function normally. It's like you try to push all these agendas on them, or you smack their hand, and so basically, if they're autistic and they don't know better, and you discipline them, what you're saying is you beating them. It's like a battered person. They like, oh, I can't do this. They might be autistic, and they like it's just brainwashing. It's traumatizing. I had to put this
Yeah. I mean,
topic
yeah. You have to be like shown like shown certain thing like for a religious family, right? So if you're religious, um,
hmm
it's meant to give. It's meant. I feel like religion is for you to believe in something that is not. It takes a deeper thought like to believe in religion because it's not can't touch it, can't feel it. You have to have a belief. You have to have a higher like you know connection for it. So it kind of gives you like a structure of like, okay, I'm going to church, and if you believe it, you believe it. Because a lot of people fall out of religion because they get older and it's like, oh, that shit make no sense, or like this and that. But because a lot of less people actually, are religious these days. It's like, it's against it, like against being religious. But so you can have influence like that. Or you can have, like you're saying, influence of what's up, or influence of like, you can have a structure, whether it be like the structure of like believing in a God, or your
Right.
parents, or this and that. So having a structure that
Right.
helps mold you in a way.
So I'm gonna say this. This is a little off topic, but all right. So I want to speak on what you just said. You brought in religion, right? This is the thing. That's another thing that said kids are they turn to religion because it's a trained or taught behavior, right? If you think about it, when you was a baby, like you said, you don't remember a lot of things,
Yeah.
and that so your parents they laid a blueprint for your thought process and your way of believing, or your thought process. So religion, first of all, it should never be forced on anybody.
No.
You can gradually introduce that into your kid's life, but you can't say, "Oh, well, you got to go to church every week," or "This is the right way," or and that's a lot of people that's religion. That's what they do. They be like, "Oh, you have to go to church," or if you don't believe in God, oh, we got to pray, we got to this, we got to that. No, that's forcing religion. You can't do
But
that.
that's what a
You
lot
got
of
to
kids
let
rebel
somebody
against that.
grow into
Yeah. A lot of kids will
exactly like
rebel against that
myself
because
included.
yeah. So yeah.
Myself included. Like I believe in a higher power, but I don't
Mm.
believe in the Bible, the church, none of that. Because
Right.
I'm gonna cut this short because it's gonna lead to another whole conversation that I'm gonna have on a later podcast. But
Okay.
I'm serious. I'm serious. But like nowhere in the Bible did it say anything about a church going to church. That's man made,
Okay.
right? A lot of stuff in the Bible is man made. Anything that comes through customs, right? What happens? We as Americans, we manipulate, we change things to our liking. We see something like, yeah, I don't like that. I'm gonna change it this way. It's acceptable only if we make these changes, and that's what happened with the Bible. The Bible wasn't even in English, so now it's in English. And a lot of people that say they're religious, they're not really religious, in my opinion, because it's certain things like um nobody that we speak to today, they don't speak Hebrew. They just don't. We speak English, but the Bible was written in Hebrew. So how you gonna tell us what that means? So somewhere down the line, when it came through customs, it was changed to the American text. It was changed to English, and a lot of things was changed. A lot of people that say they're religious, they don't do the homework, they don't do the research because it's trained and taught behaviors. They don't even know where the first Bible came from.
Yeah.
I had to put this comment up here. Said, bro, you have to learn. Listen, I'm glad he said that because I have a whole notebook full of podcast topics, and it's a lot of religious topics I have in there. And again, like I said, I like to conversate, educate,
Right.
and I like to entertain. So when I do have those topics about religion, it's not to tear down anybody that's religious, but my whole thing is, you want me to be a believer, right? I'm going to show you why I'm not a believer. I'm going to show you why people shouldn't be a believer. If you can turn me to a believer, if you can convert me, I'm all for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I
You
mean,
know what I'm
just being
saying?
open to the conversation it's a mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
He
mean,
said it's
listen.
a mindset.
It's like she said, it's a mindset. Like if you believe in religion, it's nothing about religion that's supposed to lead you down a dark path, right? Well, religion is meant to lead
Mm-mm,
you to be
mm-mm.
like a better person, God fearing, meaning like believe in a higher power, be good to your friend, your neighbors. Good. It's supposed to lead you down a path, and that's why. And we'll kick it back to what we're talking about. Our topic is they want to get religion out of it because if a God is in control of your thoughts and your mind, the government ain't. And if the government's not like doing that shit for you, that's what the
Right.
devil wants. Yeah, the government is the devil because they want to take God and religion out of shit. They want to take it all out of everything. You don't want to do like, why are you
Right.
hanging like flags in the classroom? It's not American flags. You're hanging these flags and you're doing a bunch of different things And they literally in this country they crap on religion, and it's because they don't want people to believe in that. They want this other shit over here. So that's why I get into religion, because it kind of ties into what everything is going on now. You know what I'm saying? If you really think about
Well,
it,
I'm glad you mentioned the flag too. Go ahead.
You could be religious. You cannot be religious. You can be homosexual. You cannot be. But leave everybody be. It's America, right? Like it's, they interject race into it. Everything. They just don't want people to get along. They just got to be stuffed down your throats. This and that. Just like leave it be. You know what I'm saying? Like pretty much. You know. I got on topic because I was reading the text that I was thinking about.
Yeah. So yeah, I got you. So this is the thing, like, it's a lot of things. Like, they did take the American flag, the national anthem, out of school, right? And this is the crazy thing. You got people that support Trump and all this, and when he was coming at Colin Kaepernick, people were uneducated and they don't know why he took the knee. They don't know the symbolism. So this is the thing. People, a lot, especially white people, they criticize Kaepernick and was like, oh, he disrespected our country, he disrespected the flag. No, he didn't, because if anybody did their homework, they know that people in the armed forces, when they took a knee, it was to honor the country.
Yeah.
And the thing is, why they took the national anthem out of school? They say united we stand. Listen, black people are really truly free in America still. So how are we united? There's a lot of different ways I can break this down, right? Like if you look at the national anthem, then you look at the world as it is. That shit don't hold true. When Trump said here to also make America great again, what happened?
Okay. No, good. I'm with you again, man. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Oh, so like when Trump said make America great again, my question is this: when was America ever great? So when he say that, what I see, what I hear is America was great when we had slavery. That's what I see. That's what I hear. When was America ever great?
I think you're reading too deep into it, my boy. I think you're reading you're reading too much into what he's saying, because listen, you know my feelings on that. We've had this conversation. That's why I know you're my boy, because remember we were sitting out of BJ's the one time in the car, and you're like, "Oh, you like Trump and this and that," and I'm like, "Yeah, you know what? I like Trump because, he says things, right? Make America great again. What, in this country, and we can get onto race. We can listen. I'll talk for 3 hours on this podcast about everything with you. We could kick it for a long time. Black people in this country were more successful, and the family unit was a lot better back in the earlier days, bro. Like the 50s and 60s in that time. Before, listen. Let me preach to you real quick. Before,
I think that Yingling fucking with you, bro.
No, this is a fact, man. You can read about this stuff. I
you said more successful. Okay, I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna listen.
Because they had people, and this goes for white people too. People are so much more reliant on the government. That's why in this day and age they try to divide us through race, because they want the government the people to be reliant on the government. For instance, in the last couple of years, they're giving student loan handouts to people who signed up. Listen, you signed up to pay a mortgage, right? They're giving you a handout to pay your mortgage? No, they're doing it for kids to pay loans so they can get votes, or they're giving out money to illegal. It's all to divide and conquer and keep people fighting against each other and having them think. Trust me, having them think you could do everything I can do in this country. That I can. There's no difference in either one of us, like, to be honest. And they want us to think that, because if we're divided against each other, then we're not fighting them. We're fighting each other. And that's my opinion. I think if we're fighting each other, we can't come together and fight these people who, both sides, bro, both sides are fucking like in it to like for themselves.
You know what fucks me up about You know what fucks me up about everything you say? Like, let me ask you this: Are you a Republican?
Oh, yeah.
You Republican?
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ! That's
okay,
no.
we
still boys, but I'm gonna have to at a later date. I'm gonna have to break things down.
You change my mind. You tell me. Change my mind.
I will. I will. Listen.
let me put it this way: are the Republicans the ones forcing all this stuff down our throats? Kids in schools, girls in men's sports. Are the Republicans, or is the current administration doing that?
Well, you can't
If
say the
Trump,
current.
it,
Well, all right, current. You mean Democrat?
yeah, tell me.
No, Trump's not. Trump's
Okay,
not. No.
okay. Or
So so
Is Trump in favor
so hold on.
of?
Allison put something up for you. Hold on. Ha! That was
Is
for
she like
you.
Harris too?
Listen, she go where I go, man. That's the beauty of
Okay,
having a
that's what's
successful
up.
relationship. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
I'm
facts.
Democrat all the way.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So
okay.
we didn't get we in
Teach
a
his own.
relationship. She
Yeah,
she followed my lead, and I tell her all the
yeah.
time, it's not about what I follow, what I believe in. She her own person, but like, hey,
I'll
to
raise this
me,
question to you. How about this?
that's
How about this? Since we're talking about this topic, and the topic ain't even really for us because we're grown, right? We're all grown. Me, you, Allison, Kat, we all friends, family. We love each other. It's for our kids, right? We're thinking about our kids when we have these
right,
conversations, right? So let me ask you,
right, right.
um, which platform has the better ideas right now for our kids? Not me and you, because we old. We halfway through. We on the 10th hole. We got 18 holes in life. We on the
That's
you
that's
know what
easy.
I'm
That's
saying?
easy. That's easy. Democrats.
You think so? Okay, that's your
That's
opinion. That's
easy.
fine. Okay.
Let me say something. Hold on. Let me tell you this. Democrats are for my peoples, right? When I say that, um, for minorities, try to help minorities, try to make the lower class to the middle class, try to make middle class to the upper class. Republicans only care about the rich and famous. That's it.
How's that?
That's it. So
Okay.
you said how's that,
Yeah. Give me an example.
bro?
Is what
Like they
as I'm trying to say. Yeah.
all right. Example, for instance, like when Trump was president, before he was elected president, when he was running the campaign, right? When he was, everything he says for the wealthy, it's about Trump believe and the Republicans believe in the more money you make, the less taxes you should have to pay. But the less money you make, the higher the taxes. How the fuck does that make sense? And how, as a black man, right? How is that
Okay.
helping me with my peoples? How
Hmm.
so
All right.
what
So
you're saying is,
let me.
oh, if
Okay.
you're not rich, that's your fault. Trump
No,
even
no,
said
no.
that on a later date. I will show you examples. Trump was like, "Whose fault is that you're not rich?" What?
Because you should be a go-getter. He's a successful man, bro. You gotta be, listen, as man to man. If you're not rich, that's your fault because you ain't hustling enough. Listen, let me break it down to you like this. So Trump's idea is if you tax the rich more, right? So say you own Amazon, right? And you pay a 20% tax, but I'm gonna raise your tax to 40%. That's not going to affect the billionaire guy who runs the fucking company. It's going to affect the workers because all he's going to do is put that cost onto the people. The people will pay that shit. We got to understand. You
You see
understand
that
something?
comment right there? You see that comment
Yeah,
right there? Hold on. You see that comment? Hold on 1 second. You see that comment?
yeah. Trump doesn't have to pay tax. Okay, so let me explain that to
He's
you and
supposed to pay tax.
Allison.
That's why he going through this school.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
listen, he doesn't make those laws. Those laws, he said it in a debate with Hillary Clinton back in 2015. Yeah, I don't pay taxes the way
Mm-hmm.
you pay because you guys have been in Congress, you guys have been in government for years. He's
He
like,
said
I do
like
the
no,
same.
no. He didn't say that. He didn't say that. He tried to throw it on the water like, oh, I pay somebody to do that shit for me. So I might it might look bad on paper, but it's not on me because I pay somebody to do
But
it for
his
me.
point,
That's what he
but,
tried to do.
yeah, but Roy, his point was, I don't make the laws. In 2015, I don't make the laws. You guys make the laws. So if I don't pay my taxes, it's because there's a loophole in there that you guys. So why would, like, shit? If there was some way I could save money on my taxes and it was legal, I would do it because I don't make the laws. I just go by the laws, and that
Mm,
was his point.
mm.
But I mean, we can have a whole debate on this and that. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, we definitely about to switch gears to back to the topic because you know what? I'm gonna write it down right now. I'm gonna
just
throw
know
in
this.
there
Just know this,
politics as one of my topics.
Roy, my boy. Just know this. New Jersey is a blue state, right? Where we live in Tom's River, it's a red area. There's more Republicans than Democrats because usually areas of that dense population tends to be more blue, more Democrat. But if we continue to vote blue in this state, the stuff we're talking about tonight with the school stuff and this and that, they've already gotten like North Jersey boys competing in girls shit, libraries with these books. It's going to continue. So listen, if you believe, like, you don't have to believe in everything Republicans do, and I don't have to believe in everything Democrats do. But if there's something you believe strong enough, which is your kids, because nothing will fuck with my kids. Like I told them, the one thing I'll go to jail for life for is that's my kids. Like, there's that one thing.
All right, so
And
let
if it
me ask you.
happens to be,
Well, let me ask you
and
this
then real quick. Let me get you. Because if it's strong enough that you believe the Republicans are going to be like, listen, I don't want my kid being taught this and that. I want him to have a fair chance. Do you change your mind because you feel strongly about even one thing being enough? And then you throw in gas being fucking $3-4. You throw in the groceries. You throw in all this other shit. Man, I don't know. But I'm just saying, if there's one thing you feel strongly enough, and that's your kids, well, my kids, I'll say, I know where my mind's made up, is what I'm saying. But I still love you, bro. I don't care, man. That shit don't mean nothing to me.
No, I get it. And when you say your kids, like, listen, because I fuck with you on a level that I do. Your kids are my kids, and that's how I feel. If you and Kat need something, right? If I can do it, so let me tell you something. So listen, so I know you're not a racist because you fuck with me, right? That's number one. But the thing is this: you talk about you a Trumper, you support Trump. Trump is by far a racist.
Ready for this? And my girl gonna kill me. Ready? I voted for Obama. Yes, I did. I went to the school in South River, New Jersey with my mom.
Good for you. Good for you.
I voted for Obama. It's not me being like, oh, fucking Trump. I'm more about, I think he's got more common sense stuff, and honestly,
then Kamala? Then Kamala? No.
Yeah, she's a socialist, bro. She's gonna do some bad things if you really like look into it and not reading all this.
You know what
shit.
I think?
Yeah.
Look,
that's my opinion.
Look, from man to man, I think that's your opinion because listen, I listen. This is my thing. I am petrified. I am terrified. I am scared to have a woman as a president, as a man. Because they came up with this women's rights. This is the thing. Women. This is the thing. When they came up with women's rights, they was like, we should be held accountable the same way men are accountable. We should have the same rights as men. We should this and we should fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they really don't want that responsibility. They really don't want to be held in that same light. But they went that far. So I'm afraid to have a woman as a president because everything is going to be about women. And I think that's bullshit. And that's what I'm scared of.
Well,
it's going to be her bashing men.
Yeah. Well, just look at it. Just because she became top person, like women are just like, oh, I want to see a woman. They don't care about what she's about. They don't care how it's going to affect their lives. They're just like, oh, well, she clicks 2 boxes. She's half black and she's a woman. And a lot of people.
You see that? It says, you see the comments. She is being backed by Obama, and you voted for him.
I got baited into that. I got baited to Obama's a slick talker, bro. He didn't do shit. In my opinion.
He did. Oh, don't you do that? Oh my God, we're gonna have another topic.
Yeah,
hold up.
He's
crazy.
The worst. Yeah, but what I'm saying
the worst.
Is, like, you'll have people vote.
Hold up. See, this is crazy because now we deviate from the topic, but I'm getting heated right now because you say he's the worst. What about most of the presidents in the early days were racist? They were slave owners.
That's how the time was.
Obama the worst?
Roy, that was the time back then. That wasn't just them. That was the time. They're a product of the time. It's like you saying about the kids.
Abraham Lincoln was white.
Listen,
he never stood for that shit.
No. George Washington had slaves. That's just the time it was. Look, there've been slaves through all of history, all over this world. It's not just in America. Man. Sadly, it happened in America, but
it's several white people back in those times that didn't have a slave. They didn't believe in it.
What's that? There's white people that fought against slavery. Of course.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I said presidents. There's a lot of presidents that back in the day that didn't have slaves. They wasn't a slave owner. They was against it. Did they publicly put it out there? Nah, because what happened to white people that stood up for black people? They died. So it's a lot of come on. most of them presidents, man, that was outwardly fucking racist. Like Ronald Reagan was a fucking racist. You can go to Washington D.C. and they got tapes of him being a racist.
I mean, I'm not going
Richard
to
Nixon
deny.
was a racist.
Listen, I don't know the history of it, but I can't deny that there's racist people that be ignorant because human beings are human beings. It's gonna be,
So,
it's
all right,
gonna be
so
something.
let's go back to Trump. Let's go back to
Yeah.
Trump. Let's go back to Trump. I told you he's by far one of the biggest racists, and you disagreed. I can give you a whole list of things and examples of how he was racist. What?
Okay. All right. I mean, he's had okay. So all the people that are calling him a racist are all people that backed him in the 90s, the 2000s. Like he's been to like all these people that are hating on him now, calling him a racist. You never heard of that until he ran for president. Honest to God, bro. He's in pictures.
That's not true.
He's in pictures with all these guys. Yeah. I mean, I just think you're taking their bait.
Because listen, before he was running for president,
okay,
he's a great businessman. Can't nobody deny that. And that's what people knew him as.
Right.
It was reports that saying that he was a racist before he ran for president. It was, but it wasn't as big as it is now. It's a difference when you say you want to be the head of the country, the head of the nation. It's a difference. Now you going to get scrutinized because now you're putting yourself in the public eye. Listen, when him and Barack was going at it, right? What did racist ass Trump say? You're not even black, right? When Kamala, what did he say? You're not even black. Yes, 1,000%. Why are you playing a race card? You running against somebody. So Barack, right?
Yeah, but he didn't run against Barack. He didn't run against Barack though. He didn't run against Barack.
He didn't run against. No, he didn't run against him, but he had a lot of input. He had a lot of stuff to say.
Yeah.
He attacked Obama. He said, "You're not even black." Remember, he said, "Show me your birth certificate. I want to see it."
Well, he said that because he didn't think.
Now he's doing the same thing with Kamala.
Yeah. Well,
but not just American. He attacked he tried to take away his black card. He did the same thing with Kamala. He says, "You're not even black." He called her, bro. When you call people Pocahontas because they Indian or whatever, or they got that, come on, that's racist.
Why is it racist? It's racist to say that someone is of two races. She's of two races. She's Jamaican.
Why he got to sit? Why he calling people out their name? Why he saying, "Oh, Pocahontas" or whatever her name is?
Come on, man. They calling this guy Hitler, for God's sake, bro. Come on, fair is fair, bro. It's fair. It's fair game. Like race, it don't matter. Listen, see, that's the thing. Real quick. So why doesn't she cater to the American Native American crowd? She caters to the black crowd because she knows she has to cater to a certain demographic. Because 90% of Democrats for the last 50 years have voted for Democrats. And listen, just put it this way. Let me kick you some knowledge and then we'll get back to our topic. I'll talk till 4 a.m, bro. You know me. I'll kick it with you all freaking day. Put it this way. Democrats vote 90% for the last 50 years. No bullshit. Google this shit and get a real Google search that's not going to lie to you. Vote Democrats. Now, if you look up the top 25 cities in America for violent crime, education, all the leading statistics, they're all Democrat run and they're poop because they tell you all this shit they're going to do and they want you to do all this shit and they don't do nothing for anybody, and especially the black community. And I'm not lying to you because you're my boy. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. You're going to follow who you're going to follow. And I'm not trying to sway you to vote. I don't want you to vote Republicans. I don't want your kids to be subjected to fucking more of this other shit, like with the school stuff and this and that. That's why I want you to vote. I would want you to vote Republican because they're not for that stuff. They'll fight for you on that. They might not fight for you on the other shit you're thinking of, but you pick your battles. And that's what I'm saying. They're having a convention in Chicago right now. They're talking about crime and this and that. dude, Chicago has the strictest gun laws in America, and every week they're like 800 people have been murdered in Chicago by guns. Every weekend there's like 50 people shot, dead, kids. They don't care. They just want to preach to you, and then once you vote for them, and then they disappear for 3 years, and then all of a sudden when an election comes around, they got to sway your vote again. So,
right.
I don't know, man. If something ain't working for you, you change it, right? So that's my
right.
point of view. That's it.
I mean, that's how it should be. That's what I said. I feel like that's why I wrote it down that politics got to be the subject because bro, matter of fact, not just politics. No, I'm gonna change what I wrote down to just talk about Trump and how Trump is a racist. Since you don't believe it, and when I put out, and I'm gonna come up with facts. No, I'm gonna come up with facts how he's a racist. You know, even in the 70s, when you said nobody heard of this until he was trying to run for president, that's false. That's false. In the 70s, they were saying Trump was racist. When he was like, and I'm gonna show you the clippings and everything. I'm telling you, I'm gonna go in depth with this shit. Trump was like, oh, he used the N-word. He was like, I don't want no niggers dating my daughter. Ew. What has a? I'm gonna show. I'm telling you.
Listen.
I'm gonna give you the proof.
Episode two.
When I show you the proof, this is my question. This is my question. When you see the video, you hear the audio, and you see that what I'm saying is factual, is it going to change your beliefs or your thought process? I don't think it is. But
I don't know.
I'm gonna take gratitude for the fact that I showed you.
Listen. I don't know the whole history of this man's 78 years existence. I don't know. Maybe he said something somewhere. I mean, Joe Biden has said shit. Like if you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
You know what? It's funny you said that.
Joe Biden signed the crime bill in like 1994 that would put all black people away for even the smallest of crimes. It's what you pick in an era, bro.
That's true.
So
that's true, but that's not racial. Listen, that's not racial.
Why is that not
precedent.
Why is that not racial? So
because it's the thing. When you have a goal, when you have hold on.
Why is it okay?
We as people, we shouldn't look. We should. I'm not saying it's okay, but what I'm saying is,
what makes it?
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. What I'm saying is, when you try to go in business, or when you have a dream, or you have admirations, right? And you know you want to come from here to go here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You set things in motion, and you said, "How can I get there?" Right?
Okay.
Now, what he did wasn't racial, but he see what's working. It's called smoke and mirrors. Oh, this is working. If I get on board with this X, Y, and Z, right? And this is the thing. And I might be black, whatever, but like wrong is wrong, right is wrong, whatever.
Absolutely.
Black people do a lot of things that's wrong, and I think a lot of black people know that it's wrong, but they don't. Like I said, they're not responsible enough to take accountability for their own actions. So it's like, say for instance, somebody. I don't give a fuck if somebody's black. If you grew up in the suburbs, right, and you don't live that life, you don't walk that walk, and you got kids. Let's say you got kids. You're not going to sit there and say, "Oh, all these criminal acts are good. It's positive." No, you're going to be against it. You're going to be like, "This is what I want," and that's what Joe Biden did. Come on, bro. He was from Scranton, Delaware. Delaware,
okay.
Little white boy. Grew up on a farm, sheltered, scared of life, scared of his own shadow. You're not going to be for criminal activity. You're just not. So for when he trying to be successful, right, and he looking at everybody around him, his support team saying this is wrong, and he want to be here. If you go against the grain, if you go against your support team, guess what? You're going to lose them. You're going to fall out of favor. Okay. And you're not going to get where you want to get in life. So that's it's not racial. He ain't say nothing about black people. He ain't say nothing derogatory.
Is that honorable? That's an honorable person that did not go against the grain to just be forced. So then, like what you're saying though, so the presidents back in the day had slaves because everyone else had slaves. So what's right and wrong then?
No, it's not everybody has slaves. No, you have a choice. Everybody have a choice. If you have slaves because you chose to have slaves.
Yeah. So he had a choice to make those decisions, right? Everyone has their choice.
But he never said nothing that was racial. That's what I'm saying. He might have did things that wouldn't have benefited black people. It went against what black people wanted. But like
Okay.
back in those times,
agree
black
with
people was
that.
doing things that was unjust.
But people
So what
are
he
still
did wasn't wrong. So
okay. Go ahead. I'm listening, bro.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's all I'm
But
saying. If you stay within the means of the law, I don't give a fuck if black people look at it like, oh shit, that's not helping us. He's not from the streets. For instance, for me, I look at snitching different. To me, if you're an upstanding citizen and you tell a police, oh, this person just robbed me, to me that's not a snitch. I feel like you only a snitch, and that word should only be thrown around if you from the streets. If you say I'm from the streets, or you try to live that street life, and you tell, now you're a snitch. If you're not about that street life, if you're not in the streets like that, and you tell, you're not a snitch. You're not.
okay.
You're not.
I get it.
Like for instance,
Okay.
so let me ask you this real quick, and then we're gonna get back on topic. Let me ask you this: if one of your kids, say if somebody came to them, white, black, purple, it doesn't matter what color, they came to them and say, "Oh, you gonna move these drugs, or I'm gonna shoot you, your dad, and your mom," right? And what if they did that? And what if they got locked up? And and just Rocco said, "Oh, he made me do it. He did this, and he was selling drugs. He put the drugs in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? Are you gonna say your son is a snitch?
No.
That's what I'm saying. He's not from the streets. You don't raise him that way.
So
exactly.
Then how about this?
So
you
that's
just
what I'm
proved my
saying.
point. You just proved my point because Trump didn't grow up in politics. He grew up in business and the real world. So when he says something, listen, let me cut it to you like this.
The real world is all about business.
No. The real world, yeah. Joe Biden's only job in his life was to be a politician. He ain't gonna do nothing for nobody. He doing nothing for nobody. Listen, man, Trump came from a different environment. He became a politician. He's not gonna sound like a politician. He might say some shit that don't sound good because he fucking said, some Mexicans are gangbangers and this and that. He's not gonna sound like a politician because he's a New Yorker, and you got to give him a little leeway with that shit.
But the only reason why he ran
listen, real quick, as a friend, right? Would you rather have a friend that just fucking just tells you, oh, Dan, you look good, like just sugarcoats everything for you, never tells you the real fucking deal? Oh, Dan, you look fucking tired today, man, or you're doing something wrong in life. Or do you want a friend that's gonna be fucking like honest with you, or just not tell you how shit is? So you can have that, or you can have the person that's gonna be like, listen, man. When Trump said, "Listen, vote for me," he's talking to African American black people. He's like, "What have you got to lose to vote for me?" And he doesn't mean to
that's racist.
degrade.
That was racist.
That's not racist. That's honest. That's honesty, bro. There's a difference. There's honesty because he's not trying to degrade
that's crazy
you as a person. He's not trying to degrade you as a human being. He's being like, listen, you voted for Democrats for 50 fucking years, and you guys are still behind. Like, if you still in your heart feel like you're behind white people, Asians, all these, like they let all these people come in the country and they get welfare, they get benefits, insurance benefits, they get jobs that could be going to white people, black people. That he means it by like, what have you got to lose? Meaning like these people aren't doing shit for you. So you vote for me, you might actually get something you like they haven't given you that they promised.
Nah,
you.
hell so no, bro.
Yeah,
hell
okay.
no. He said that in the sense of like, you ain't got black people. You're from the bottom. You ain't got nothing to live for. You ain't got nothing. You're like, you ain't got nothing to lose.
You keep thinking
vote
negative,
for me,
because nah.
We're gonna say this for another time because we're gonna go. We derailed right quick. So now we're gonna get back on topic, and we will discuss this at another time on a different fucking episode, right? Look, back to the topic at hand. It's about the greatest capability being responsibility, right? And when I say responsibility, it's us taking accountability for our actions, right? So look, like I said, going back to that, a lot of fathers are just not around for their kids, right? Do you think that genetically the fathers or mothers are the problem for their kids choosing to date within the same sex?
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna. No, we good. I mean, it depends on like how you growing up. Like now it's there's so many like like all my family except for one of my aunts is Italian. She's Puerto Rican. Everybody in my family on my mom's side, my dad's side, married Italian. So they're Italian all through and through. So do you take that as being a kid being like it's not forced on you like we're talking about forcing and just natural progression, but it's not
Right.
like that nowadays, man. Like everybody is like so like from like even being white to white, like Polish, Irish, this and that. There's so many mixes of everything, like and yeah, I mean, but do you take it from your parents? Unless it's forced on you, you're gonna like you're gonna like who you like. It's a natural thing in life for people growing up. You're gonna gravitate to who you gravitate to, and you genuinely and you know this. It's like when you're talking about the girl that's easy or the girl that's hard. Like you're gonna gravitate to what you're gonna gravitate to. So damn, if I think this girl's fly and she happens to be Indian or she happens to be Dominican, that's what it is. I mean, unless you have a parent that's like,
Well,
listen, you're dating inside your race, you're Italian, you're only dating Italians, or you're Irish, you're only dating Irish. But some countries don't have the mixtures that we have in this country. Like you literally, in my complex here, I got fucking people from Pakistan, I got people from fucking Asia, I got people from here. So it's a mix. So it's you know,
well, look, I get what you're saying, but I think you
did
missed
I?
the point that I was trying to make.
Yeah, okay,
So I said, so for me, like when I started off, I said fathers, like men, we're
right.
generally speaking, well, it's mainly like, and I hate to say it, it's mainly what in black households or whatever. Like black men are not there for their kids, and it's not just black men because it's white people that's not white fathers is not there for their kids. So the question I'm asking is, do you think that like genetically men are the problem for not being there for their kids properly?
Oh, I'm
Do
sorry,
you
I
think
totally
that
missed what you're saying.
because
Okay.
men, yeah, so do you think that the men that's not there in for their kids properly in their lives, do you think that that's a reason or a gateway for their kids to turn gay or say they gay? That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah. If you're not around enough, or you're not even like uh strong enough in your own, like if you're a father and you're just like literally punching in punching out in your house, like you're not giving the kid the time, he's looking for your attention, you don't give it to him, and or this and that, he's going to look for that somewhere else if you're not giving that kid the sturdy structure of a man figure that's like a man, like in the household. He's got to look
So
for it from.
so so have you heard the saying that like sons try to emulate or be like their fathers? Have you heard that?
Yeah, yeah.
So then like, this is like kind of like twofold. So like if their father's not around, right, their sons build a resentment towards men, but at the same time they're facing demons. Like they want to be like their fathers, but they hate their fathers. They have resentment towards their fathers. So now it's like this man and man thing. It's like men, men, men. Now they have internal conflict with a man and they turn to a man. Like all it takes for a man to show another man the things that their father wasn't doing for them and they gravitate towards them. Because
Well,
if a
that
man
they
showed them love and their father wasn't
yeah.
showing love, do you not think that that's one of the reasons why they say I'm gay? I like men.
Yeah, well, that's you agree a great point, because a lot of the times you end up like, as far as father and son, like you don't like your dad. I hate my dad. You end up growing up to be what you hate most without even realizing it, because you're like, it's in your DNA. So the more you fight it, you're gonna end up being more like that person. Like like I have that relationship with my father now. I can't stand the guy, and I see myself doing something. I'm like, damn, that's something my fucking pops would do, and I can't stand the guy. But it's because you end up emulating what that person does, because you like, it's so weird. It's like it subconsciously happens. It's weird. And it doesn't father son doesn't have to be tough love. It can be love. It can just be like guidance and shit like that. But
Right.
Yeah. So
And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, so every son want that love. They want that reassurance from their fathers. But when their father's not there, let's just say a man comes in and give them that love and that reassurance that they expect from their fathers. I
yeah,
think that's part of the reason why they sit there and say, you know what, and they fall victim. They I like a man. It's not
yeah,
really consciously. It's not. It's subconscious. It's consciously. It's not like they really like a man. It's like they're seeking something. Well, they're getting something from a man that they want or expect their fathers to be. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. There's
And
some
the same thing for
confusion there.
women.
Yeah,
And
there's
that's
some
what I was
confusion
saying.
there.
So like everything's smoke and mirrors. It goes back to what I said about like social media and then cartoons and all that shit. Like shit's real fucked up, right? So like, do you think that kids that transition, right, and choose like do you think that some kids become gay because they come from a broken home? I guess that's the best way to put it. Do you think broken homes force or swayed some kids to turn gay?
Yeah, I mean, I think broken homes are like lead to a lot of misbehaviors, bad behaviors, whether it be like you said, like not being there's no father figure, so you're gonna turn to that street guy that's gonna show you this, and not has no care for how you like sell this, do this, or even like yeah. So if you're not having that at home, and yeah, you can absolutely astray from like um you're not getting that structure. Like we keep going back to like, the structure of the father figure and like a lot of the behaviors can happen. Like necessarily gay, yeah, because maybe you're looking for that attention, affection, or something from another person, and your dad's not giving it to you, so you might look to someone else that might not, um, you know,
So
might have
do you
different.
think one of the core reasons for people turning gay is from a lack of love? Like,
A
that
lack
goes
of
back to what
love,
that's just to add on to what I was saying.
right?
Do you think one of the reasons is because a lack of love?
Um, I don't know, that's a deep question. A lack of love. I mean, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know the lack of love. It could. I mean, would that be more of the reason other than like having like too much love and someone being there too much? I mean, because like we said,
Right.
you can have too much in your kid's life and they're gonna rebel against you telling them like, oh, religion or this and that, and they're gonna just the natural way of things is for a kid to be like, oh, don't look over there, and they look. It's that kind of thing. Like, oh, don't they do. I was watching a comedian. He's actually this guy Chris D'Elia. You might have heard of him. He's like, I never did drugs or drinking growing up because my parents never forced me to not do it. They just didn't have the conversations. They raised me the right way, and I never. They weren't like, oh, don't do drugs, don't go drinking at that party tonight, don't do this. And then the natural thing was like, well, if they didn't make it a big thing where I didn't do it, I didn't see the need to like, oh shit, if they're telling me not to, I should try it. You know what I'm saying? So it's that mindset
Mhm.
of like, if you're not like keep telling me not to, I'm not gonna feel the need to like be like, well, maybe I should because so in that essence, like, you know, um, too much love, like too much or lack of, it depends on what the intent is behind it.
Well, this thing. So this comment says suicide, right, or disrespect comes from the lack of love, right? So that's interesting because if people commit suicide for the lack of love, people are disrespectful from the lack of love. So
It's a good
I
point.
feel like part of people turning gay is from the lack of love, the lack of tension, the lack of devotion, the lack of something that they value or they chase in life. It's a lack of love makes your mind distorted. It makes you turn to or gravitate to whatever is going to give you what you need, and that's what I mean.
I
Like
mean, so that
shit's
means I
crazy,
mean,
right? Like
yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, does that make you unhappy then?
so,
Does that mean you're just leading a life where you're not really like happy? It's not something you really are
yeah,
like looking
yeah,
for
and that's what
because
I'm
lack
saying.
of
And
love, who doesn't? you don't get love. Like, damn, and I gotta look for it. Maybe you're looking for it, and someone, you're a guy, and you get it from another, and you're like, oh, I'm getting love from this guy. And it just maybe it feels right at that time, but you're not really.
That
But who
no,
knows?
it's
You know what I'm
not
saying?
just love. It's
Or,
not just
yeah,
love though. It's not
it's
just love. It's love that you expect from your father that you
right.
didn't
That's what I'm
get.
saying. Yeah,
And this man
yeah,
showing you what you expected from your father. Yeah. So it's like you had that resentment towards your father, but you expected your father to give you X, Y, and Z, but he didn't. But this man is giving you what you thought your father should have did. And I think that like that's what makes you some people gravitate towards that. And same thing with women. And that's what I'm saying. Every content has intent. You know what I'm trying to say? So like we have no basic uh instinctive knowledge at birth, right? We don't know what's right from wrong. Knowledge and ideas come from experiences that one has. Do you agree with that?
yeah. I get on board with that.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So let's go back to what I was saying earlier about how the LGBTQ community gets portrayed in the media. Right? When and I said this before, all content has intent, right? So everything has a purpose in communicating the overall message. You follow me so far?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. How can we correct certain behaviors if we're not correcting what our kids are exposed to?
How can we correct certain behaviors? Well, who? I mean, how can we correct certain behaviors if we're not correct? I mean, you have to turn it off, right? Like, it's on the cartoons. Turn it off. Change the mind. Like, we don't even let our kids. Like my boy Rock, he don't watch TV at all during the day. He plays. We get him
Oh,
doing stuff.
oh
Like when
damn.
I'm home, yeah, no, for real, man. His big yo. Listen to this. This is a good social experiment. We put on the TV for him, and he loves sea animals, sharks, like. So we'll put on like the thing for him.
Mhm.
If he watches like 2 days of TV, his behavior just gets so different than when he's not watching TV. So in the same aspect, like if you can't be able to control the content, but you can because you can defer, you can shut things off. Like I mean, we'll never be able to completely control, and that's the thing that as these kids get older and they become, I'm fearing. Listen, Roy, and you know this because you got older kids. I'm fearing the day where this kid's gonna be out there in these schools and
Yeah,
where I don't have that control no more. And that's the
yeah.
biggest, and I'm telling you real quick, man to man, that's the fear I have. Where he's out of my, because right now he's 24/7. He goes where I go. I do every conversation he has is with someone that's in my vicinity and with me and my people. And they're never gonna, and I'll never put him around people who are gonna steer him in a way because I just won't put him in that environment. But soon he's going to be in kindergarten and
And that's
daycare,
what that's accountability.
and
They
that's the
so hold on,
accountability, and that's what I'm
hold on.
saying. And that's yeah,
Yeah.
good man,
No,
go.
that's what I'm saying. And that, as a father, that's accountability. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Not just as a father, as society, the government, everybody has to take accountability. And
right.
and I think that that's when we make it socially acceptable, when we push the envelope the way we do, that's not being held accountable for our own actions because we're putting that message out there. That's
Yeah,
that. So when I said every content has intent, that's what I mean. We putting out false information that like this is the way to be. We're not letting our kids grow and learn on their own. We pushing the envelope. And like we're not gonna talk about religion again, but that's
no,
a lot. Most households as we do. We have kids and you say, "Oh, you got to do CCD. You got to go to church. You got to do this. You got to do that." And that's not letting them live. That's not letting them
no,
experience life or live life how they want to live it. It's us forcing. So that's why I said, as fathers, as parents, as the community, as the government, we have to take accountability for our actions, what is said and what is done. That's all I'm getting
well,
at.
and a little sidebar real quick because I was watching something. I'm driving back from moving my girl's sister into Pennsylvania, and I'm driving back, driving to U-Haul, listen to a podcast, and the one lady was kicking some knowledge, smart. She's like, well, boys and girls at a certain age, like boys at 3, 4 years old, right? The testosterone starts to kick in. So you're expecting these kids to go to these schools, sit down, they're like boys just want to play, run around, be energetic at that time. So what happens is the kid, the boy, the girl's playing nice, she's coloring and shit. The boy wants to be a boy. He wants to be rambunctious, go run and play. But the kid gets told, listen, no, you got to sit at your desk and do what you need to do like everybody else. But the boy's just trying to be a boy. You know what I'm saying? Like they like not letting the kid be like boys and girls are different, straight up. I have a boy and a girl, and they are completely fucking different. Everything down to the you know what I'm saying? So when you do
Yeah.
that stuff, like as they get older, like you like we were talking about, you have to like I don't know, man. It just gets like it's a scary thought when these kids are gonna be out the house and out of my like So that's why when I'm accountable, like for like setting them up for and they're so young when they're gonna be out there. So you try to do the best you can, and that's being accountable and being there and showing them love and. But you have to treat it differently for each one, or else you get run into that thing where like someone's gonna question something.
Right. So, all right. So look, entertainment is a weapon of brainwashing, right? Where we see a war against not only men, but a man's masculinity. So, how can over displaying the LGBTQ banner, how can that not be a problem if we over display the content, the message? How can we not like how can that not be a problem, right? Like how much is forced out there, like you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people told me recently, like that's not a problem. Like it's right. It's not right though, because like I said, like kids are innocent, man. So. All right, I'm going into a rant, but like what I'm saying is, entertainment is a weapon of brainwashing, right? We use entertainment to brainwash people. And that's what I was
Yeah.
saying about the cartoons and stuff. So over displaying the LGBTQ banner, how can that not be a problem for our kids or just in general? That's my question.
How can that be a problem? Well, I mean, but I get what you're saying because they do it with kids, but they do it in adult movies now, where like every movie's got to have like a female action
It
hero where she's the one and the man's a putz, and even in commercials they do it where like the man's an idiot and the woman's like putting the shit together, or the smart person and the man's an idiot. They do some
that's true.
subliminally like go watch when you watch the TV next time. Watch women are gonna be doing all this shit and the man is like an idiot. Like and they do that in movies. Like every
And
superhero movie, it's all women. And then, listen, that's fine. I get it.
yeah,
But you're not gonna make as much money as it's just not the natural role for women. Anyway, so what you're saying is you have to have the conversations, right? Like, and that's what they
right.
do is they try to have you shut down the conversation because if you get on social media or you talk like you can't even talk at work the way you used to talk. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like words are offensive now, or even say joking around and shit.
Mm,
Like, so they shut it down by having those words be an issue, so you can't have the conversation, and they want to stop the conversation, but that's why you have to like
mm,
have the right conversations at home. Like you're never gonna stop like the flags in the school or this and that, or the White House having a rainbow flag hanging next to the American flag, and then the kids gonna go, "Oh, what's that?" And you got to explain it. It's how you tell them what it is, and how you explain
right.
it in a way where like, listen, nothing wrong with that, but this is what we do in our family and our household, and this and that, and just being there, like, and having those conversations. Because you can't, like we said, and this is what will drive a kid to being like, oh, maybe don't ever like that flag, or don't ever this, or oh no, that's this. You can't do that. You got to explain it. You got to talk about it, and you got to like, and that's where it leaves it open though, because shit, if you got a curious mind, which is fine, there's nothing wrong with it, but like conversation and explaining and because it's not going to stop, it's going to continue. It's like it's
Right.
just it's
You're
just
right.
all over
You're
the
right.
place. So
It seems like that's the momentum we're going into, right? But this is my thing.
yeah, exactly.
There's a
Yeah,
distinction between there's a distinction between feminine energy and feminine sexuality, right? Like if two women are raising a son, right? All he's going to see is a lot of feminine energy, in sexuality. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to rub off on him, right? To some capacity. The same thing goes with men. Um, they are born men, right? But if two men are together and they acting in the feminine, right? Um, the outcome of them raising a son will be the same. Like if you have two men acting in the feminine, it's like you're teaching them to be feminine.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
it's two women that's together, that's a lot of that's estrogen and estrogen together, and that's too much estrogen. It's too much
Yeah.
feminine energy. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So this is more so about raising sons than it is for daughters, right? But like the same thing applies to daughters, though, right? But it impacts males more. I feel like.
It impacts males more because, like, let's say you have two guys raising a son. Worst case scenario, he's not going to be gay, but he's not going to be like a man. He's going to get in a relationship where the girls you're just like, oh man, what am I? This ain't. He's not, doesn't have the attributes of a real man. Like, and that's just what it's going to
Right.
be. It's almost like
And
a
that,
absolute certainty to be that way. Unfortunately, in my opinion.
right. And
You
that's what
know,
I was getting at, right? Like, so if two men are together and they both acting in the feminine, doesn't that go against what a man stands for? Like, a man is supposed to be the protectors and the providers, right? Like, so you got two men acting in the feminine. When you act in the feminine, that means like woman, like now you got two men that's supposed to be men, supposed to be providers, supposed to be protectors,
yeah.
but instead they're timid, they both trying to nourish, they both
Yeah, well, put it this
acting
way. Put it this way.
girlish.
I just thought of this right now, right? Like, let's just say
Mhm.
you have the conversation of like where babies come from. How does it two men have that conversation with a son or a daughter? How do two women have a
Yeah,
conversation with like it's not natural? Then that's why like it's just not a natural thing. Even from there, you're gonna warp a kid's mind. Be like, oh wait, two men can have a baby? Oh wait, I didn't. How is that?
right.
Like it's like yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, it's two women raising a son is not a good outcome. It might be a
Or vice versa.
to be or vice versa. I don't even know what would be the better outcome if it was two men or two women, but I think each outcome just doesn't
It's,
give
it
that
doesn't
kid
work.
it doesn't work. Yeah, you know.
Like, look, like newborns, right? Newborns lack self-awareness, right? You agree with that?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So again, let's revisit the whole social media conversation, right?
Excuse me.
Children consume more television than anybody else in America. So the message you put into these movies or these TV shows or these commercials or these cartoons, it's going to hit children 50 times harder than anybody else, right? So like that's factual. Kids consume more television and
Mm,
social media than anybody else,
that's
meaning like
crazy.
adults or whatever.
Yeah.
So the content that you put out there is going to hit them 50 times harder.
Yeah.
So what I mean by hit them 50 times harder, I mean the influence. Because
Yeah, and
because
that's why
they
they
don't
put
know
it in
no
the
better.
kids stuff.
When you're
But that's why they put it in the kids
exactly
stuff. That's why they trickle it in when they're
so
young. Yeah. Come on
right.
now.
So let me ask you another
Go
hard question, right?
ahead.
Do
You
you
go for
think
it.
it's possible that a person could be born gay? Oh,
No, I don't think so.
me either. And
I don't think so.
recently a lot of
No,
people say, "Yeah, it's a such thing." I'm like, "Hell no!"
no.
If a baby's born basically brain dead, right, without knowledge, without self awareness, without whatever, they don't know right from wrong. If that's how everybody's born, how could they be born gay? If nobody's born, they don't have self awareness of who they are. They don't have
Right.
self awareness of their sexuality or anything like that. So how is it possible that a baby could be born gay? A lot of people
Yeah.
feel like it's possible. I do not.
No. It's how you shape and
Right?
mold the mind of
Like
it's how you shape and mold the mind of the child. I mean, come on now. Like, let's not get crazy here.
right.
Like, go ahead, bro.
No, that's what I was getting at. Like I feel like it's all about it's all about the matter of negative exposure. right? Like kids aren't old enough to know their sexuality, as I keep saying. They don't understand their bodies. They don't have a full understanding of life in general, right? And again, I gotta say this, a disclaimer. I don't want nobody to feel discriminated against, right? And I don't want nobody to feel like I'm bashing anybody, but look, this kind of conversation has many layers, right? Um, Let me ask you this. In society, can ignorance be an excuse for irresponsibility? That's a big question. Can
Mm,
ignorance be an excuse for irresponsibility?
Um, in adult behavior, I don't. I mean, what are we talking about? Teenagers? Are we talking about like adults? Are we talking about like you know?
So when
I
people
mean,
say ignorance, like a lot of times they say they don't know no better, right? So or
right.
they don't have the
I mean,
knowledge, right? So if
so
you
wait.
sit there and
You, I
say
mean,
I don't understand,
if a person doesn't work in the kitchen, they walk and they see a pan on the stove and it's hot. Do they touch it? They're not. Is that ignorant? And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it depends on what you're talking about, what context. I feel like,
I,
I feel like
I
as an adult, you have enough common sense and knowledge to know, I mean, how ignorant we like. Yeah, for basic everyday life behaviors, ignorance is kind of an
right.
excuse for behaviors that like and you just use it as an excuse. To be honest, I think like
That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
So that's what I'm saying. Can your lack of understanding be an excuse for you not being responsible? I guess that's basically what I was trying to ask.
not because like I mean, unless you're so poorly raised that you just don't, and you just like might be a little, excuse me, like slowing. Nah, you get to the even teenagers are smart enough to know what's right and wrong. Ignorant behavior. That's just you wanting to do something and being like, oh,
Right.
I just didn't know any better type shit. No, like right and wrong. It's just nature, natural. Like yeah,
That's what I'm saying. So yeah,
ignorance.
we all from trials and tribulations, right? People, places, and things. So it's like you once you're an adult, unless you're autistic or something, like you have the wherewithal to know
Of
what's
course,
right and wrong. You
yeah,
know what
yeah,
works and what don't work, right? So I don't think that somebody saying that I didn't know no better or I didn't understand, I don't think that's an excuse for you not to be responsible. I don't think that's an excuse for somebody to say, well, I shouldn't be held accountable because I didn't understand. Because as
right,
adults, that's one thing about learning. That's part of being an adult is to learn. If you
right,
don't know something, right, unless you autistic, you have the wherewithal, you have the knowledge to seek out the right answer. You
right,
have the knowledge and the ability to go out and say, "All right, you know what? This ain't been working. I know this is wrong. Let me find out what works." Right, and that's how I
yeah,
feel.
yeah,
Um, Let
absolutely.
me ask you this: can you see how the portrayal of the gay lifestyle can be used to push certain agendas? Not get, you kind of touched on this and agree with me, but like the portrayal of the gay lifestyle, can you see how that could be used to push certain agendas? Meaning, what we talk about the cartoons and how it's over displayed. Can you see how the government and how society is using that to 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 point people in the wrong direction or saying this is the right way to go? Can you see that?
Push certain agendas. I mean, pushing certain agendas. I mean, what? Yeah, I mean, if it was at a natural um rate of things, right? If it wasn't so like in your face forced, then I'd be like, all right, cool. Like you see something here and there, and it's just a natural way of things. But when it comes from every avenue,
Right.
from social media, from TV, am I getting off the question? But
No, no, you good. You
um,
good.
yeah. Shit, kick the question to me again because I lost my train of thought. Okay, kick the question to me again real quick.
I said, can you see how the portrayal of the gay lifestyle can be used to push certain agendas?
Yeah, I mean,
Like the way we put.
good, good.
No, yeah, no, you got it. You got. Go ahead.
I was watching it. You watched Chappelle, and like Chappelle was like talking one of his things. He's like, well, they put everybody together, LGBTQ. Like a lot of them don't even like agree on the same things. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's an agenda now. They put everybody together. So now, if you bash on one, you bash on everybody. It's like, it's
Right.
like well, I don't even know what half of that stuff means anymore. I mean, I knew growing up what a lesbian was, or a gay person, bisexual, this and that. But now you put in like this, and I'm like, so there's an agenda, and it's pushed on you through many facets of like just about everything. Man, they made Buzz Lightyear gay in the cartoon, for God's sake. Buzz Lightyear, Toy
That's
Story
true. I seen it.
is
I
skipping
seen
a
it,
dude.
and
Like, come on, man. Like all this, like, so there's and it's just like yeah. So there's an agenda, and you, yeah. I mean, come on, man. You live under a rock if you don't know. All of a sudden, you're seeing it everywhere, in every single way. Yeah.
they take a classic and they flip it and make it gay. It's
Oh
crazy. But
man.
so the
What
last thing
happened
I'm
with
gonna
the
say is,
first three?
look,
Yeah, go ahead.
the first three what?
The first three of them, they were nothing like that. Now the fourth one, I'm just joking around.
Oh yeah, I got you, I got you. So look,
Yeah.
so the last thing I'm gonna touch on is this. This may sound a little controversial, right? But how do we know that this ain't a way of the world trying to stop or prevent reproduction? Because no fathers means no parents. Two women reproduce, and two men can't reproduce. So how do we know that like the government is not trying to push the LGBTQ flag to stop reproduction? Now, and that to some people that might be a little controversial, but like I was thinking about it, I'm like, if you push it the way they push it, it's saying gay is acceptable or gay is the right way to go or gay is the way in. Well, two men together can't make kids. Two women to get together can't make kids. So how do we
Well,
know this is not a way of the world saying or the government saying, "Oh, let's slow down reproduction.
and
Let's
we didn't
push
even
this
touch on.
so
Listen,
it's not we won't
yeah,
be overpopulated."
yeah. Well, it goes into like a couple different areas where you're trying to talk about like with reproduction and stuff like that because now it's even with like less adults even having kids. But if you start at the kid level
Right.
with transformation operations
Oh
and
my God.
you know and the
Yeah.
rate that's happening and this and that. Oh, there's like, Roy, you tell me what the agenda is and the reason behind why you're going to let a 12-year-old have an operation that they're going to be affected for life. So there's got to be a reason why they're doing this all of a sudden, and it makes a deeper thought of like
Eh,
I can't think like that person who thinks that like I would take a little innocent fucking kid and agree
mhm.
to that. So there's got to be an agenda,
Right.
and
And that's what I was getting at.
maybe the agenda is to lower the amount that these kids are because they're gonna grow up and they can't like you already messed them up these kids, whether they're
Yeah.
transgender or
And
they're
like I
this and
said,
that, you know.
that might
Well,
like yeah, it what I was saying is it might be a ploy. It might be the government saying, "Oh, we overpopulated. We got to slow this down. So if we push this envelope, we push
mhm.
that this is okay and this is the right way to go. Hey, it'll be less people, but we can start over." How we know it's not the government saying like, "Oh, there's too many people, so we never going to make change because there's so many people being born." How do we know?
We
They
won't
might
because
want to
we
slow it down so they can try to rebuild, like what Trump like to say, "Make America great." As the United States might be like, "Oh well, let's slow this down so we can control it," because that's what the
that
United
wouldn't
States is
be
all about. It's
but
about
that wouldn't
control.
be but let me tell you this then real quick because what you said now you brought Trump back so I'm gonna tell you this but that wouldn't be the
Oh
way they
shit!
were doing it because listen Hispanic communities they hate that transgender go the communities that are mostly going for this kid mutilation and this and that are white people. They're legit. Go. You can look up the numbers,
Yeah.
man. It's not black community. It's not Asian. Asians forget about it. They're the most successful people in this country. Asians and white people are second.
And Jews,
But and Jews
well,
exactly.
Jews,
But
Jews,
yeah.
Jews up there too, because Jews
But
they stick
but
together. They stick together.
but
I know my people don't
so
stick together, which
so
is sad.
what's it didn't they don't stick together? I mean, I don't know.
No,
It's
I never understood why, but it's facts.
well, because I can't get into that question right now, but what I was saying is like, yeah, I can't. I mean, we listen. I'll do 10 podcasts. We talk about all this shit, but it's really
Right.
affecting the white community the most. This stuff because it's happening in like in the white community the most. I feel like is what I see it happening. I mean, you know, you think it's happening in the black community most where you're seeing all this stuff happening? I mean, honest question, I don't think so. It doesn't happen in the Hispanic community. They got their heads on straight. So I don't know
Hispanic
what the
people
fuck.
stick together too. I noticed.
Yeah, and they're very religious
The world's
people
just
too.
fucked up, and it
Like,
started.
yeah. Dude, they went to,
They're like, yeah.
they
So
went
we
to,
lost.
they went. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry, guys.
No, I'm saying we lost sight of how we were. Like, so back in the day, even like slavery and stuff, you ain't had to know each other. Black people just stuck together because we all struggled the same. We all
Right,
went through the same thing, and it was a common bond. It was something that brought us together, right?
yeah.
Um, and Jews, they went through the Holocaust and all that stuff. It's a common bond. They stuck together. Puerto Ricans and stuff, right? Mexicans, they stick together. White people, they stick together. But for some reason, somewhere down the line, black people lost sight of all of that. They lost focus of where they came from, where their ancestors, their parents
You
came
know,
from, and
do
we
you
just
want
don't
to know
stick
why?
together as a black
I'm
community,
gonna
which is
answer you that
sad.
question right now. You know why? Because they put their faith in white
Listen,
people.
I got my own ideas, but
Stop. Because
what
listen,
happened?
man. Listen, they put their faith in white people. The people that preach to them from the fucking stage, telling them all this shit, promise you this, I'm gonna give you free this, I'm gonna give you this. They stop telling people you if you just work. I'm telling you, man, this ain't racism, bro. I love fucking everybody.
Right.
I love and hate everybody equally the same. I don't care who the fuck you are. You offend me, I don't care where you
Well,
come
I
from.
know that's. I
I
remember
love you. You treat
when we
me the right way. I
connected.
love you.
Like
I
the
got
thing
yeah.
is,
That's what I'm saying. So
look, when we met,
like
look, the crazy thing is when we met, you was like the first thing that caught my ears. You was like, I fucking hate white people. I said, what the fuck?
yeah,
And to me,
listen,
I'm like,
bro.
you white. And every time
Yeah,
I called you white, you was like, I ain't white, bro. I'm gonna tell you. And I'm like, all right, my
I'm
bad.
telling you.
And I'm like, you
Listen,
fucking white boy.
in my life, I've listen. I'll tell you right now. In my life, I've been wronged by more white people than any other people in the fucking world. Listen, man, my own people, I've caught more shit from, and that's because just in my surroundings or whatever. So I got no favoritism, nobody. But what I'm saying to you is, if they keep us fighting on all these different levels about our kids, about men and this and races, then we're not fighting the people who we should be fighting, and that's the people taxing
Right.
us out our ass. That's the people where we gotta pay absorbent. I gotta get taxed for my house. I gotta tax for my fucking pay. I gotta tax for this. I gotta pay this. And they want us fighting against each other like kind of we're boys, and we still will fight about it because we're not. They want us not agreeing on shit because then we're not talking about what the fuck they doing to us, and they keeping us.
Right.
Listen, they eating good, and they keeping us talking about this shit, and now they just bringing our kids into it. And listen, when is it where like,
Right.
and I want to say something that's gonna get me in some trouble, but a lot of this shit with the kids is because there's weak ass dads, and there's moms that are just fucking like, I don't know what's going on. You're a weak ass dad if you letting your kid and your wife, if you let like you're a dad and you're like, oh, he wants to wear nail polish today to school. But get the fuck out of here with nail polish. And I'll chop his hands off. He ain't wearing no, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's got to be a dynamic where the
Yeah.
man is weak and the woman is controlling the house for your son to be allowed to do shit like that. It'll be the end of my
Right.
household if and she
Right.
knows better because like we had like she knows how I feel about this stuff. And this is what I told you when I told you in that text. I'll keep it PC and I'll behave. But she knows not to cross the line. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but that's what I'm saying though. A lot of this is happening because they're crushing the man down and they're making the woman be the man. Like the man is like not the way he was 20, 30 years ago. They're making the man like have to
Nope.
subject to all this stuff. And then once they crush the man, they're like, oh shit, the woman is in charge and she's nurturing and she don't. It's okay for your son to wear a dress. It's okay for, and that's my thought
Yeah.
process. Is it
Hell
wrong?
no.
Am I?
Yeah.
I don't care, bro. Like that's the way I feel. Like so, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
And that's what I
it is
say.
what it
So
is.
conversations like this it gets muddy. It gets a little sketchy, right? Because like, you don't want people to hate you or to think that like you're against those type of people. Because I ain't no homophobe, but I just don't think that you should be out there like that when it's innocent kids that don't know no better, and you putting it out there like oh, this is cool. Like it's disrespectful to me, like for real. extra
Yeah, I mean,
flamboyant. This is the
like
thing.
you have
When guys want to be gay, they try to act like women, but the way they portray women is not how women really are. Like the way
exactly.
they do
That's a
their
great
voice, women
point.
don't even sound like that.
Yeah,
So what are you
that's come on, man.
doing?
It's more insulting to women than it is to men because I'm like, damn, you actually letting
Yeah,
like men have it so like men had it like we dominate and then you letting men dominate your shit. Like you letting men take over what you got
yeah.
your space. Like what's going on? Like
Or
come on, that's like
same thing with
come
a
on.
woman. Gay women is the first thing they say is, "Oh, none in here, none in here."
Mm,
But their girlfriends are wearing strap on, so it is some in there, some in there. So at the end of the day, what the fuck are we talking about?
yeah.
Oh, I'm strictly pussy. I'm strictly this. I don't want to. I don't nothing to poke up inside of me. But your girlfriend uses a strap on, so something is poking up in you. So it makes sense out of what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Yeah.
Like all this scissoring shit, bro. What is that? Or you get these women, they say they gay. No, these women they talk about they gay.
Yeah.
But so if you're gay, all right, so both of y'all take on the feminine role then. Why does one always take on the male role?
Let me kick you a question. Let me kick
Look,
you
they
a
ain't got
question.
no base, they ain't got no
Yeah.
look. Hold on. They ain't got no Adam's apple or nothing, but they be like this. What you say?
Okay.
What are
How
you
about
doing?
this? How about
Now
this?
you trying to be a man.
Look at
But
this.
you
Look
say
at
you
this.
hate men so much.
No. I got a question for you. Ready? Watch this. You have two
Go
friends,
ahead.
right? You have a female friend and you got a guy friend, right? So you're with your friends, right? You're with
Right.
your boys, right? And your friend Tim, whatever you fucking do, he's like, oh yeah, man, you know, I tried that gay shit out for a while. I was gay for like 2 years and I went back.
Oh man.
You are
Oh
legit
nah.
gonna be like, nah, you're done, bro. You out. If a girl come up to
You
you and you
done.
and
You
your friend,
gay. You
and listen,
fucking
let me kick it, and you with some girl, your friend, to your other friend, and she's like, oh yeah, I tried the bisexual, I tried dating girls for a little bit, but I'm back to the sausage. You'd be like, oh shit, okay, bet. It's totally different. It's fucking crazy. So that you can't have the same. Men and fucking women are different. Men are supposed to be leaders of the house. Women are supposed to be not subservient. They can have their own fucking shit, but you have to let the man do that shit, or else you're gonna have these complications where you just don't like. You have to. It's just the way of things in the
yeah.
history of fucking history. Men go to wars. Women fucking stay back. Men fight the wars. This, that, like come on, women got equality. You don't
Right.
see them on oil rigs and fucking paving roads. They in nursing, they in schools,
Yeah.
they doing the.
But they say they
Women
want equal rights. They want to be held accountable and they
no,
want to
they
be equal to
listen.
men, but they don't want to do a man's job. They don't
I'll
want to do
get
a
some
man's
thumbs
job.
down for this shit. I'll get some thumbs down for this shit, but
Yeah.
it's the way
And
it
that's what I
is.
was trying to avoid, but I know I'm gonna get it. I know I'm
Nah,
gonna
who
get it.
cares, man?
Like they women
Yeah,
said they want to be looked at it like a man. They want to take on the roles of a man, but they don't. The only role of a man that a woman truly wants is the leadership role. That's it. That's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
That's it. They want to lead. They want control. Everybody in life want control. It's money, power, respect.
Yeah.
Right? Like women don't want to work a man's job. Like for instance, in my job, like in restaurants, if I hire a woman and say, listen, the only position I have is on the grill. They can be like, on the grill? No.
Yeah.
You want a man's job. You say you want a man's job, but when I say you got to work that grill, you like, it's hot.
It's gonna be hot. It's gonna be on your feet for 10
Yeah.
hours, 8 hours. You
No,
get
I
a half
can't
hour
do
break.
it.
It's different, man. It's just different. And that's
Yeah.
not knocking.
But
That's
you
not
told
knocking women. They have their attributes. They're nurturing. They go to nursing. They mold minds. Like if they do it right, not this bullshit. They teachers. They do certain fields. Like it's just the way it is.
and
You
then
can't
when I
turn it
hire him,
upside
I'm like,
down.
oh, I would look as a kitchen manager. If I say like, oh, I only have grill, but I don't want a woman or a female to work the grill. That's just a lot.
Yeah.
And then the females just sit there and say, what? That's discrimination, or that's not why. That's not fair. This is the thing. If I didn't say none of that and I hired you and say put you on the grill, you're gonna quit. That's the thing. It takes a lot of work. It's a man's job.
So listen, where I work, right?
Like how many women mechanics do you know?
I don't think I've ever run into one though, but I mean they're out there, but I've never
So I'm
seen
saying
one. You know what I'm saying? I've seen a unicorn.
nah,
I'm just joking.
I only oh my god,
I'm
I
joking.
only met one woman that was a mechanic, and I was like, and the crazy thing is, I hate to say it, but it's the truth. She was working on my car, and I was like, yeah. So I left from there. Even though I paid double time because I left there and I took my car somewhere else to do it. Because I was like, a woman working on my car? Nah, I'm good. Because
Yeah,
you
dude.
asked that woman that work on your car about mechanics, and she can't answer questions. Nah, bro, you just worked on my car. Yeah, I don't trust you.
Have you
And it
had?
sucks to
Have
say
you
that, but that's
had?
what it is. Sir.
Yeah. Well, have you had any podcasts yet on the on forcing inclusion upon jobs based on like sex and stuff like that? Have you had a podcast on that yet? Meaning like,
No,
oh,
but you know what?
we got
That's
to hire 15 women because we have 30 men. We need some more women in here, or we need more, white or black or whatever it may be. We need to mix everybody up, even if we have to lower the
right.
qualifications because it's a woman. She can't lift 300 pounds. All right, well, if she can lift 200 pounds or 100, it's okay. Let her in. I'm just saying. I'm saying because I ran into that
No, I
at work. I ran into that problem. The one guy quit. He was going back to the work in the school system, and the girl she works. Today was the first day. He wasn't there, and already he's affecting the thing because she's like, "Oh, I got some stuff on the elevator," and so I work with my buddy Rob, and she's like, "Oh, can you guys, one of you guys, come help me bring the tables and the chairs off the elevator real quick?" And I can't do it myself, and I'm like, "Oh man, this is already starting," because this guy Anthony was, I'm like, damn, it's just what it is, bro. What are you gonna do? Like, you gotta put people in the right position that's gonna be efficient for what you needed to do. It's the way it is. I'm not trying to hurt no feelings.
You're right. Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because I didn't have that, but I will write that down as a podcast topic, right? But look, we going almost 2.5 hours, so like I'm gonna take a pause right now, right? And
Yeah.
we could definitely have a part two or conversate about a different topic on a later podcast. But like for my listeners, make sure you share, subscribe, like, comment, all that good shit, right? It's YouTube at Desmond Black 620. Like I said, just subscribe and let's keep this thing moving, man. And Joe, we could talk backstage if you want, but I'm gonna end this episode at the moment. All right.
All right, man.
All
Appreciate you
right.
being on.
Peace, love.
Appreciate you being on. Yeah, bro.